Me. Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Nerds in Words. I'll be your host today, unfortunately, Tim Allen 1337, and I'm joined here by the man who is too scared to host it himself, Moreland TV.
Hi.
And Sleepy McSleepyhead, Potion Shop TV.
It is I.
And we all thank you dearly for staying up past your bedtime to do this podcast with us. On your day off, too. On your day off. I want to start off by apologizing for the day lapse. My son's mother's parents have coronavirus, and so those are the only people who have really been helping with the childcare thing over the weekends and stuff, because my parents are off in a different state for some reason. So I have been playing a lot of Single Dad this week, so I needed to move it to Sunday. Hopefully we'll be back to normal schedule next week, but it's a possibility of another Sunday next week. Sorry, Potion. I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Okay, bro.
But that being said, we've got there's a lot of stuff to talk about with BDO. This is a big BDO week. We got some big shit coming. So let's start off with what we did for the week and then jump right into the content if we can. Moreland, how was your week, bud?
I played lots of Ghost of Tsushima. I think I'm going to beat the game after the podcast. I think I've finally gotten to the end. That game ended up being about 10 times bigger than I anticipated. I went into it not knowing what to expect, and it was insane. It was like playing another Breath of the Wild. They did a pretty good job. Massive game. But yeah, we're finally almost to the end. I don't know. They don't tell you how many hours, but it must be over 100 at this point. And I mean, I still have like a few things left to explore.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best you can expect from any like open world game, really.
I saw that you were playing it on like you came up on my Twitter that you're playing it still, and I'm like, how is this like a new game plus or something? Like, it seems like you've been playing it forever.
Still just the base playthrough. Yeah, I was trying to 100% it, which was maybe a little bit of a big goal, but yeah, it's been fun. I don't know if I'm actually going to get the 100%. There's a few like random side things that I might not go and fetch because we have another game starting in a couple days, but it's been super fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing the ending. The like story battles are pretty sweet. Good music, good atmosphere. Makes you feel like a big epic samurai boy.
That's awesome. It's been a joy watching you. Last time I tuned in, you like were running around, and you actually fought too many people. So then you like pulled out a bomb. Like, I didn't want to use this, and then you throw a bomb at some dudes, and I don't know. It was pretty fun. You're trying to like different. Apparently, there's like different styles in it. It was fun watching.
Yeah, you got a bunch of different toys you can use. You can set people on fire. You can throw grenades. You got a bow. You got all kinds of nifty tricks.
Sounds so much fun.
I only watch streamers play BDO.
Same.
Well, for me, I basically messed up my sleep cycle. So the first couple of days this week, I kind of just didn't stream at all. In typical Potion fashion, I messed up my sleep about once a month at least. So I played They Are Billions. It's an RTS game. Been enjoying that a little bit. Been playing some Legends of Runeterra, which is like Riot Games' version of Hearthstone, and that's been really, really good because it's not really pay to win, which was a big surprise coming from like a card game. I kind of expected pay to win, but it's more of a time investment game for getting your cards. Now, you can pay to win to a certain extent to get your cards a little faster, but it's so tame that no one would ever complain about it. Most of the things they're trying to monetize is cosmetically. They're trying to take it like League of Legends, where you can pick like your side of the board, and so you can cosmetically like change your appearance of your side of the board and stuff like that. So I think it's good. I think you're doing a good job with it. I've been enjoying it. I failed my challenge for pin bags gloves.
When did that come out? Has that been around for a while? That sounds familiar.
It's been out. It came out early this year. I want to say like around like March, and they've came out with one expansion so far for it, and they're coming out with another expansion here in 2-3 weeks, something. I don't know. It's like any card game when it first comes out. It gets better with time because you get more mechanics and more things to learn and play with and stuff. And I think the base of the game is what's really solid, and that's the main problem I have with like Magic the Gathering or with Hearthstone is that you have to pump so much cash into the game to continue enjoying it that it's just I can't keep up. And so with Legends of Runeterra, I took off I think like 3-4 months, and I just came back, and I'm back in the game and having a blast, and I don't feel like I lost too much traction.
I follow a BDO streamer who went to Magic the Gathering, and they post like things about what's the happenings in the Magic the Gathering like Twitch world. And apparently it's like just as toxic as BDO, if not more so. It's like super misogynistic or like some weird shit's going on in the MTG community. I just figured that out not too long ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not just BDO, so that's fine.
I mean, I think it's everywhere. Everybody tries to focus on the worst parts. You know, you gotta try to make a positive environment, because otherwise it'll just be negative, especially with the current culture and stuff going on in the world.
So your pin bags, you didn't grind.
So
failed,
yeah,
right?
I didn't finish them. So I my punishment for that was going for buying and raw tapping for pin bags. So I bought 3 pairs of Tet Begs gloves and failed 3 times, and I croned once, and so all 4 of those failed. I got to buy another pair of Tet Begs gloves and click those tomorrow. So that's
you're buying and tapping and then selling at try. Is that what you're doing?
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Whoa.
I mean, honestly, I don't have an enhancing system right now. I don't have an enhancing system. So if I go and invest, like, I'd have to invest billions into getting a basic enhancing system set up.
So instead, you're just investing billions in.
I'm losing about 4.8 billion. 4.8 billion is what I'm losing in buying tapping them for pin. So it's just not. It's not. I mean, it's whatever.
What stack are you using?
I started off a 120 stack, and it's going to end on 144.
Damn.
And that's going to be my try Armor of the Undead God. So
wait, so you're gonna stop at 140 after raw tapping pin bags, and then what? Cron it, or you're just gonna save it for Dead God?
I'm stop there, and I'm going to basically save money and buy pin bags. I'm just going to save up again and buy them.
Damn. Okay.
Yep. And then basically it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be try Armor of the Dead God. I'm not going to go for Tet, because Tet's like 100 billion or to 200 billion, depending on your setup you have for it.
Why aren't you going for Libers?
I'm going for a DR setup. And so DR and Evasion are basically equal in PvE. For the most part, there's a little bit of debate.
That's fair.
But you get more accuracy. So the accuracy is what I'm going for on the Begs gloves.
Do you think you need the accuracy in PvE? Is there a new
Definitely.
like for Odalita or something?
It's huge.
Really?
For Sausons, to get like a 90% hit rate at Sausons, and this is an old grind spot that's low mobs. It's about a 325 accuracy is what you need to have about a 90% hit rate. It's like 325 to 350, and so that's for an old grind spot to have a 90% hit rate, and 90% is when it starts greatly falling off with diminishing returns. So for like history, it ends up being around like 400 to 450, and then for Sakurai, it ends up being like 500. It's like, I guess I've never tested Sakurai out. And for Ash Forest, it comes down.
What is this based off of?
This is Sausons I tested out in depth myself, because I was running a human damage build, and so when I ran Yuri accessories, I didn't get any accuracy from Yuri accessories. So I had a huge accuracy problem running that, and so I had to figure out how to balance out Yuri accessories and accuracy for grinding Sausons with a human damage build back in the day. And so because of that, I kind of learned.
That's intense.
I was super.
That's an intense problem to have to solve.
I had tried Manos accessories, and I had full Yuri for the rest of it. But anyway, I learned in depth about it, and also level affects your accuracy as well against monsters, and it doesn't stop scaling.
What level were you when you were missing against thousands?
Well, I mean, I did it all the way up until 62. I feel like I'm being picked on here, but I'm being legitimately serious. If you have a question, if you're being
footage of you whiffing against Sausons at level 62.
Like I said, I was going for a 90% hit rate. Most people are getting around like a 60%.
Like a Sausons soldier off to the side that you were using at a 2-hit attack on, and you were seeing how many damage ticks you got off that?
Yeah, so Sorceress has 1 or 2 abilities that have only a single hit to them, and so I was using that to judge how much damage I was doing, because I couldn't one-shot Assassins. It was my problem. I wanted to one-shot Assassins, and so if I did it through a Dream of Doom, Dream of Doom back in the day had 3 hits to it, maybe 4. I forget exactly what the count was. And so my Dream of Doom would leave them with like this. It was just a sliver, man. It was like literally a pixel of health left, and I was so pissed off about it, and then I had to hit every single hit in order to kill them when I got my human damage build on. So I had to like max human damage to kill them, but then I also had max accuracy in order to get all my hits on them on average. So it was yeah. Anyway, I learned a lot about it.
that actually makes a lot more sense than I thought it was how this story was going to end.
Yeah.
You know,
And now for some classes,
grinding,
it doesn't make sense because you already one-shot them like Guardian. Who cares if you get more human damage or AP or whatever? It doesn't matter. You already one-shot them, so it doesn't matter. You don't need more accuracy or more AP. But if you're a certain class and you just have a sneeze left, or maybe you only one-shot them when you hit every single one of your ticks, that's when you need it.
So now that you're 65, are you at Basham's?
Oh gosh. Listen here, I'm gonna be 66, and you're not gonna be 64, so you can't talk to me. All right.
What type of is it? Are they demi-humans, Bashams?
I actually back in the day bought 7,000 demi-human elixirs in order to grind there faster because the AP cap is 300. I did actually do that. I did.
Fuck off, dude. Fuck off.
I sold them all too because they came out with you could change demi-human elixirs and use them in the frenzies to make the frenzy draft, and so those like tripled in price. They went up like tripled in price, and I made a ton of money on it. It was great.
Oh yeah. Hey, the Seleth market is lit right now. The AIM market might be next.
I promise I'm not making fun of you. I just love how you play this game. I really do. I don't know anybody else who would like sit down, number one, grind Sawsons for a couple thousand hours. Number two, go, hey, my Dream of Doom just isn't doing it. Most people would be like, well, fuck, I got to two-shot him. Not dive into like this fucking weird-ass build to one-shot. I mean, that's min-maxing at a level that I...
Well, and the thing was that I was making, at Sawsons, I was making 50 to 70 mil an hour at Sawsons, and people in history are making 50 to 70 mil an hour. And nowadays, I can make 100 mil an hour for the same build. I could go to Sawsons right now and make 100 mil an hour. The problem is I'd have to have an absolute ass ton of maids, and I don't want to buy more maids. I'm so done with it.
Oh, maids.
Is that vendor price or is that turning trash in at Sarma?
It's about, I forget the exact ratios, but the trash ends up being like 40 million, and then everything else adds up.
Are you turning it in though, or just selling it?
What are you talking about? The trash loot?
Trash, yeah.
Yeah, I turn it in. I turn it in later. I think.
Do you calculate that into your per hour?
Yeah. I mean, I do. It depends a little bit on how you want to calculate it, but yeah, you can calculate that on there. It depends on how long your grind session is going to be.
When you can't turn in over 100% inventory, right? So you got to like load a bunch of trash on a horse from.
It's not that bad. It sounds terrible, but it's really not that bad because you can end up nowadays you have so much weight compared to back then because you have 250 LT, you have 300 LT. You can overstack your horse super easy now. Where back in the day it was a pain in the ass. Because back in the day, this was like 1 out of 5 times I go there, and I would miss. Because you're supposed to get your horse up to like 150% weight, and then you could overstack your horse. And so I would always fuck that up like 1 out of 5 times, and I just be sitting there like, oh, I'm overweight, and then I'd have to waddle back to town and over to my little bank that had that remote storage container in Kus. What was that?
Did you ever plant yourself at Kuwait Island when turning in bandanas? That was rough.
I actually didn't grind pirates. I grind pirates for maybe a couple hours, but never a whole
Tim,
lot.
did you ever do that back in the day?
I don't even have knowledge on pirates.
Oh man, this was like before storage maids or anything. You accidentally went overweight at Pirate Island, and you were just fucked.
Oh yeah.
You had to like get on another character and swim out there with a container and like buy the house. And yeah, oh man, dude, I'm PTSD.
I think I command to gather some people because of that back in the day. So man, I'm jealous though. I mean, you've been playing this game since release, right, Potion?
Yeah.
And so all of your grinding's been in Medaya, so you haven't even seen Kama or Valencia yet. You've got so much stuff.
I've done more. I've done more grinding in those grind spots than you. All right, I want to hear it.
Whoa, you don't have to get fucking aggressive, man. I'm your friend out here.
I want to hear it.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool guy. I did the movie quote this week, Moreland.
So at this rate, Potion is gonna probably get to Odalita around what, like 2026, which to be fair is when the rest of us will be playing it too. So it'll break even at that point.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move into Ash Forest. That's where I'm gonna move into. That's gonna be my new home.
I don't think you need to rush him, Moreland. All right, so it's my turn to do my week now.
Yeah, we just talked about Sultans for way too long. Restart this podcast.
I'm not really sure we talked about it long enough, honestly.
I still have so many more questions.
I know.
Ironically.
Hey, ask away. Here, I'll hit you with the quick facts. All right. When you level up, you get CC'd less often from mobs. When you level up, you get less experience from mobs. When you level up, you get the mobs.
This is what I really want to know: the gray trash theory.
It's 100% true. 100% true. It's when you go from 4 levels to 5 levels above the monster, you get 10% less loot roughly. And every additional level on top of that, you get 10% less loot, and it's at the base level. It's not so all the multiplication, all the loot scrolls and everything. They're less effective once you're 5 levels above the monster. This is why you can easily test this too by getting a brand new character, going over to any of the low end grind spots and level up there, and count the amount of trash you're getting on average, and then how many mobs it takes you to get trash loot. By the time you're about 18 levels higher than the monster, they just stop dropping trash loot on average. You can still get it, but it becomes impossibly hard by the time you're at 20 levels above the monsters. Like you literally just don't get it anymore. This actually happened in Mysteries of Summer the first year. Because we had to go to Moretti Plantation and farm the little scarecrow dudes there for their trash loot. And I went there on my sorceress, and I calculated out it was going to be like 100 hours of grinding in order to get the trash loot I needed. And so then the Koreans remembered this trash loot thing that I had forgotten, and they were like, yeah. So they went over there in like a level like 5 Zerker, and they started cleaning up, and they were like getting tons of trash loot. And I recalculated it, and I actually had to do 2 characters to level 18 to min-max getting my trash loot at Moretti Plantation, because my sorceress was going to take 100 hours, and I did it in like, I think it was like 5 hours on 2 different characters. So
you earned that PC, son.
I also tested this again at Hex Sanctuary, because Hex Sanctuary actually is very profitable with witch earrings, but at my level, like it's the worst grind spot in the game. But if you're a level 60 character or level 59, and you're just like wanting to go make some good money with nobody around,
when the hex mobs go gray? Because if you're like 61, 62 and you're doing that new hex spot, are you just fucking yourself?
The new hex spot, I think the mobs are higher level. I think they're like 58 or something like that. I think they're a little higher.
You guys remember a streamer by the name of Menace IX?
Yeah. He was jealous of you.
To this day.
Oh fuck. He had a spreadsheet, and he tried to convince everybody that Hex Sanctuary at level 61 Sork was like 87 mil an hour or something like that. So
it was a little exaggerated, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, but there is money there. But people used to, the reason that the loot buff doesn't start until 50 is because of level 49 tamers at Hex Sanctuary. They just roll through, and their pets could kill everything, and then they get that, you could call it a buff, I guess, for for being like within the level range, and their pet would just kill everything, and then they had to turn that off. So Hex Sanctuary's had an interesting.
You can still do that actually
using our shit too.
You can still do that.
Was part of it. Yeah.
You can still do that with Tamer, but you have to use a macro now, so people just get banned because they're using a macro. So but that's still technically a thing.
Well, they should RMT it so they only get 3 days.
Yes, of course. That happens lots of times to macroers. How's that ankles guy doing from BR? Macros?
Well, I mean, all right. I know several people who have gotten banned and restarted. There's been several actually streamers that used to stream, and there were just like smaller streamers in the directory, and they got banned for using macro. Like one guy was using a macro to drift instant cell, and he had another macro that he just pressed the button one time, and it'd feed all of his workers. And so he's using macros like that to do things in the game. He got permabanned
for that. There's no way he got
permabanned. He
got permabanned because he was doing something else, bro. He was fishbotting or something. There's no chance he got banned for an instant Excel macro. I would bet my fucking account that he didn't get banned for that.
Hey, I mean, I'm not the owner of the account, so I don't know. I'm just repeating what he said.
He's covering his tracks, homie. He got banned for something way different than that.
I used a keyboard macro to repair my boat back in the sea monster hunting days. I'd time it to like 10.001 seconds, and because repairing a boat was awful, so I'd go pee and hit that. And then I stopped because it just wasn't worth it in case like I got banned for using a keyboard macro. Anything's possible. I've been banned more times for things I haven't done than things I have done.
Actually
Tim, how's your
true.
week?
So speaking of being banned, my week was good. I lost my first. I got my first permanently banned Overwatch account. So my main Overwatch account has been permanently banned.
Congratulations.
I went from 1750 SR rating up to 2490. I was almost platinum, and then some DPS just threw the fucking match, and I lost my shit in a drunken rage at 4 a.m. And by the time I got my head to the bed, they're like, "Oh, you're done. You can't play this game anymore." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So my new account's at level 17. Pretty excited for it. I've decided that I'm just going to be a toxic piece of shit in this game and just keep buying accounts.
I don't
It's way
understand
more
why
fun.
they don't do what League does. Like League, or what RuneScape does. RuneScape is, hey, you can't talk anymore. I mean, you
So
can still
I
play
went through that. I went through. It was 1 day, 2 day, 4 days, 8 days, 16 days, 32 days, and then 2 days, 3 days suspension, 6 days suspension, 2 week suspension, 1 month suspension. Then they gave me a warning yesterday morning, like a final warning, and then I got banned last night.
No, but I'm saying those are like you just can't play the game, right?
Well, it started with chat suspensions, and then
See, but
then I burnt through all those.
you're not toxic in the game and how you play or anything though, right?
No, I hard fucking carry. I just call people shit. Like they wait 10 minutes to play DPS in Overwatch, and then they play like they don't have any fucking hands.
Yeah.
They're just drooling on their keyboard. And
I
I'm like,
understand.
I can't imagine waiting 10 minutes.
I just
to
don't see why they don't
fucking
just
throw
permanently
games.
ban you in chat and voice, and then you're just like, then you're just like, you can still
I
play.
don't really think there's a mystery here. I would definitely have banned him like 5 offenses ago if I was Blizzard.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I don't know. I think
so,
because you can still be, you can still enjoy. Like if I was toxic in League of Legends, which I definitely have been, I would expect to get chat banned permanently, and then maybe just be able to still play them on my account. Because I mean, I invested a lot of time on it, and I feel like that as long as I can't like ping spam somebody or chat in message somebody, make them mad. Like I don't see the point. Like if I don't have any interactions with them verbally, socially, then who cares?
In my experience, chat ban players are about 10 times more likely to behave like cunts in the game. Like in terms of feeding and just running straight down mid and et cetera, et cetera. Especially when they're chat banned, because then they have no other way of flaming you other than running down mid over and over again and throwing the game.
So I actually found out as I was uploading the last podcast that word Moreland is akin to advertising on YouTube as racial slurs. YouTube does not like that word.
What word?
Cunt.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So rip my monetization for this episode.
Oh, sorry.
I just lost 20 cents, dude. Anyway, so yeah, I'm level 17 on my new account. I should have been banned. It's really surprising. I think the thing I'm reported most for in that game is I just don't want to talk to anybody because they're all just idiots anyway. And so they're like, "Hey, Tim, you're the only person not in chat." I'm like, "Yeah, I know what drooling sounds like. I don't need to hear it. I'm just going to play the game." They go from 0 to 100. They just go 0 to 100 on that. I don't even have to use bad words, and I get reported every time I say that. So I'm going to have to come up with a slightly less insulting insult, I guess. What else did I do? Oh, my ex-in-laws or whatever have coronavirus, and they live right next door to my ex. And we're passing my son back and forth, and so I have been extremely exposed to coronavirus, and I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. I don't want a Q-tip jammed in my brain, so I'm just going to see if I get sick and just stay home for a couple of weeks. And
what? All right. Do we want to have a talk about COVID, or is you? No,
not really.
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
That was my week. So I did some life skilling and got banned from Overwatch. And I put out a video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I made a little trailer video. I'm super excited for season 2 and starting my new account. So I put together a little video on that, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on YouTube in the coming months. So I'm excited for some PvP videos. That should be pretty fun. And then the same fucking great guides that I did in Xbox. So that was my week. Just a lot of kind of reflection and internalizing, and some Twitter drama and coronavirus.
Twitter drama is always juicy. Well, it sounds like a pretty good week. I mean, other than your In-laws getting sick.
Yeah, it's kind of a fucked up week, but that's okay. I got permanently banned, coronavirus, and Twitter drama, dude.
I mean, that's like a normal week for you, though.
I was gonna say that's like a 7
That's-
out of 10 week.
No,
for
no, no. That's a normal week. I don't see what's going on.
At least I'm 6'5".
So BDO.
Yeah, sure.
I
This
don't know. I'm kind of done. Let's just wrap it up.
This week in BDO, they have a bunch of new events, which I think are somewhat interesting, actually, compared to previous ones. Yeah, I think interesting is probably the best way to describe it. And we also got a new grind spot, so lots to talk about there. And Global Labs has lots of stuff, so we have lots of things to talk about in Black Desert. Let's start off by talking about the event for the Pin Kaposha earring. What do you guys think about this? Like, basically what you have to do for the Pin Kaposha, if you guys aren't caught up, is you log in daily and you get like this ability to enhance a event earring. And if you get the event earring to try or higher, you can turn it in for a Pin Kaposha. Yeah, it's basically the as far as the event goes. But I think it's interesting that they already have the Pin Crescent. Now they're having a Pin Kaposha, Pin Kaposha ring. Now they have a Pin Kaposha earring. Do you like this kind of trend where they're doing this?
If you pick the earring for season, you could have 2 Kaposha earrings.
Oh, you get ring or earring?
Yeah, some people went with the earring for whatever reason.
You've been narked out of your mind.
No common damage.
I don't really have an opinion on it either way. I'm kind of fine with this, but I don't think they should do any more of it. I think two TED accessories in like a fucking month or whatever is probably enough. I don't know if we need to go any harder on that. I'm trying to figure out what the context is here, or maybe they're just like, we don't have a lot going on because they're on Korean holiday or whatever. So here's an accessory. I just hope they slow it down. I just hope they slow it down. It's a little too much.
I'm just concerned for, all right, you have a Pin Kaposha ring, and now you have everything ready. What are you going to do next? You have to go for a Pin Crescent? That's the next thing, really? Like, that's the next answer for everybody?
Yeah, TED accessories are, handing them out for relatively free is.
And that it's a Pin Kaposha earring is the equivalent of what? What is that?
It's a Tet Narc without comma damage.
A Tet Narc without comma damage? It's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but then you also the event also floods the economy with Trinarchs because that's like the consolation prize. Mm-hmm. So just as the price of Narcs was potentially about to go up with the new DP changes, we've got this event that's kind of just crashing up. That's the part that annoys me the most. I don't really have strong feelings about them handing out another free Kaposha. It's not my favorite way to catch up new players, but it's not the end of the world. The thing that bothers me continuously in this game is when they just shit all over the market for certain items. Yeah. Just arbitrarily and out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden, we're just going to flood the economy with Trinarchs. So, if that's something that you are investing in or something you're trying to speculate on, well, get fucked.
Yeah, the economy's already in a bad state in BDO without the addition of these events collapsing it even farther. And I can kind of see it like, we have another event we're going to get into where they did it with Ancient Spirit Dust. And I think that's interesting because that a current part of the economy is actually really hurting. And I don't think that's a bad thing to give people Ancient Spirit Dust in that case. But in this case, you're already kind of nailing down a hurt part of the economy. And we've seen it do them with life skilling too, right? Like we've seen them give away the black gem fragments. So now everything with butchering, blood collecting, and skinning is garbage in the gathering period. So if you're doing butchering, skinning, or blood collecting, I mean, you just got screwed. You just got screwed because now that economy is completely collapsed in BDO.
How much more money do I have to spend to make my own grilled sausage for my Balanos meals, right? Like, at least I had the fucking fragments to balance it out a little bit, but I get so punished for making grilled sausage. I cringe every time I make it. I hate it.
Sort of my thought pattern behind this is really like, okay, you create an item in the game people can grind for, and it helps the economy in an interesting way. Maybe it's not perfect, but it does do some good things for the economy. But then you just take that entire system that you designed and it works pretty well, and then you just take a complete dump on it and it just ruins the entire thing. It's like, now we just got the Manos accessories. I don't have we had them for a year yet, and now they've already destroyed the part of the economy they added. I don't know if we had them for a year yet.
Manos accessory economy's been destroyed.
There's 135,000 min listed on the marketplace.
Yeah, we're talking about Black Gem fragments in particular in this case. The Manos accessories are okay.
Used to be able to sell those max price $550 a pop all day long, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, and
Gathering 8 was easy, 150 mil an hour.
Those did get annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they're doing the Oasis event, and in the Oasis box you have black gems, and so the black gems they're selling, and they're kind of like a low price, but indirectly that's really hurting the black gem fragment market because you don't need to buy black gem fragments if you have black gems.
The Oasis box is the thing that's flooding these.
Yeah, it's part of it. There's multiple things that have contributed to it. One, the change to high quality wine has incentivized people to gather butchering more often than before in some ways, and it's hurt the economy. Another thing is they made the Patrigo event where you could get black gems from Patrigo, I believe. And they also did the Infinite Potion.
The Patrigo event, I guarantee you, had zero impact on the price of anything.
Maybe. They also had the Infinite Potion, so people were gathering on Narvan Steppe doing skinning.
Oh, yeah.
And that was what started it. That's what started it. And then the Oasis event has just continued that downtrend, even though people are no longer doing tanning anymore for the Infinite Potion as much. The economy is still being suppressed because of the event. And we see this also with the Cron Mills. The Cron Mills would ideally be much better than they are right now if the Oasis vendor wasn't in the game selling those. And
that Oasis vendor's got to go. That was one of the goofiest things that they've ever done. Is the one price Cron Mill. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like, it's not like Cron Meals were so expensive that new players couldn't buy them. They were like $100K. I mean, it's like,
so I think it was good for a couple of weeks because like that was when we were all getting locked down in Corona, and I thought that was just like a hey, we'll just we'll chill. It'll fuck with the economy, but everybody will live, and everybody gets a little free shit. But the reason it's going on for months and months and months and months and months and months.
It's too long. It needs to go.
What the fuck? Like the 2 weeks would have been fine.
And also, I think that it's indirectly hurting world bosses a lot because otherwise, these new players would be going in and potentially going to a world boss and being like, "Hey, let me get a Zarka, let me get a Dandy." But now, why do that when you just buy a try for 1 silver? You know, and I don't think that's hurt as much. I don't think that's hurt as much, but I do think that it could be a lot better than it currently is.
I'm really excited to start this new account. So when we bring stuff up like this, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'd never do that."
Well, I mean, oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get that perspective.
Yeah, let me know how your Naru enhancing goes.
It's so much fun. You can only turn those things in once, right? For the Pride Tuvala?
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet.
Because you end up with I deleted 4,000 beginner Blackstones, and I was kind of hoping that you could make multiples to turn in, but that we kind of scoffed at the Naru stuff. I don't know if we talked about this, if I can do a rabbit hole real quick. That shit's great. That was a really good idea. It saves you so many time-filled Blackstones. If you're a brand new player and you're not just a veteran player going to play seasons, that shit is it's awesome.
Now explain what Naru gear is for people who don't know what Naru gear is. What is that?
So Naru gear is basically it's just free gear that they give you. You get these little beginner Blackstones from quest rewards at level 30 plus. And then they'll give you the Naru gear, and you can actually turn 1 Blackstone in for the gear. And then I think the worst stack you get at 1 stack is pen is 49% chance. So everything's 70 to 80%, and it only takes 2 durability to enhance per. So you never repair anything for any reason. So you get everything pen real quick, and accessories are try. And once you get your non-accessory gear to pen, you can change it into a Tuvala at Pry, which going 1 to 15 on Tuvala sucks bad. So just starting at Pry gives you, once you're done with the Medaya quest, I think you can change it in. Gives you all Pry Tuvala, and then you just tap some gear to do a try real quick, and boom, you're fairly viable for just about anything.
Tuvala is season gear, correct?
Yeah.
I like the fact that the Naru gear is something that you enhance, even if it's silly 70% success rates. I like that new players get that kind of like rapid fire progression to get caught up to Pride to Follow. I think that's much better than all these like weird quest reward or like rentable items that they've been adding to the game.
Yeah.
Because it kind of teaches you to enhance.
Even if it lulls you into a false sense of security.
Yeah. It always feels so bad, yeah. Let me think. So I actually think that the Naru gear is really good for seasons. Can you get it outside of seasons?
No.
Yeah, it's part of the main quest now. They got rid of all the old quest gear.
Wait, that's weird. Really?
See, I don't.
You have to like page a GM for the Chimera earrings now or something. Like it's all weird now.
I don't like that it's part of the main game, and the reason I say that is because the main game, I think they should, if they're trying to encourage people to get gear easily, make a Loverdo easy to enhance, make a Loverdo easier to repair, make a Witch Earrings way easier to enhance, make Mark of Shadows and Schultz belts and Schultz necklaces way easier to enhance, and then people can take those and enhance them way easier. And then you're using that, and that bolsters the economy for those older grind spots for players to go there and grind. They're like, hey, I just went here, and wow, I got 2 Witch Earrings and smash them together. Pry, great. And I think that's a better solution for the regular game. Now, I think Naru gear is awesome for seasons, though.
Lining, if they were going to do something like that, if they were going to change the enhancing rates and something like Witch Earrings, that would be a massive design project for them. I don't anticipate ever seeing something like that happening.
I don't think. I mean, just make it where Pry is automatically 50. And then make duo start at 40, and then so on and so forth.
It has a cascading effect on the value of all the other Witch Earrings that are in the game. I mean, some items, like particularly Tet and Pin Witch Earrings, are still they're not like end game viable, but they're still significant items in the economy. So I don't know.
Maybe Witch Earring would be a special case scenario, but all the other ones, there's no argument because no one upgrades them at all. No one gets any of them.
People do, though. People do upgrade that shit. People still swing on like Mark of Shadows and stuff like that. I mean, if you go look at the market, you can see that there's people who are buying and smashing those. They're just, I think we're just not really, we don't do that. So we're kind of out of touch with some of the random shit that the BDO population at large likes to blow up. I don't know. I feel like the market has already kind of solved some of those shittier accessories in terms of making them cheap enough where people will still decide to slam them to some degree.
Pen Witch is Tet Tungrad in AP. It's 15 AP.
Yeah, it's a serious item.
I feel like it'd be good to do that, or maybe do it with green accessories. I mean, you could pick how you want to implement this idea, but I think there's plenty of items out there that have little purpose, and especially with the armor, like Akum and Lemuria would be a perfect example for this. Because right now people just buy those, and the only purpose they have is to get fel stacks. That's literally their only purpose. And some people, like if you ever buy those as a new player at Tet,
Akum
like
is super good, dude. Akum is like amazing armor for new players. It's better than boss gear.
I don't think anybody's going for it though. I don't think it's easy enough to enhance.
Going for it. I'm all over the Akum market. There's a shit ton of people who are going for it.
You really think it's that big, huh?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's just for me it's just I need to get a better perspective on it. Maybe that's why all it is I don't have a good
all the new like Reddit guides and stuff for the last year, they all recommend Akum. Yeah, there's a huge market for Akum. That's
really?
What I would say the majority of new players are using.
Seems like it's just a bad idea because of taxes and everything.
Everyone's using Tuvala, but before season everyone was using Akum, all the new people.
Get out of Medaya and smell the Akum, bro.
But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I have to look more into that then. I guess
this week.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little ignorant on that topic. Anyway, the Pinkaposha, I think, going back to the original topic, I think is interesting. It's going to be something that's good for catch-up mechanics. I don't really see the long-term vision for something like this, but short-term, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see the long-term vision, though. I'd like to see maybe a more long-term vision for the game, because right now it doesn't seem like they have one.
I mean, the long-term vision is there's going to be a new orange tier of accessory at some point, and Tungrads are going to be the new witches, and witches are going to be like it's the same thing that's always happened. Everything's going to get kind of bumped down, and things that are relevant now are going to become witch earrings, and there will be some new shit that's got 1 AP more, or it's got stamina, or I don't know, fucking ice region damage on it, or whatever other new stats they come up with.
I think the vision here is just like in politics, and not to get political, but when George W. Bush's approval rating was in the dumps, what did he do? Cut taxes. He just gave people money. So I think it's just a little bit of like, hey, let's make everybody happy and just fucking give them something.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Well, the other event that we have going on is the summer seasoned. Wait, that's the wrong one. Is the August events. And they guys kind of bundled them all into the same big category here. So we'll go through these one by one. The first one is Beer Time at Termaine Beach, which Beer Time sounds pretty good, but this event kind of sucks.
Kind of.
Yeah, maybe a lot.
Can you name an event that has been worse than this one ever in the history of the game?
Ooh.
The only one that remotely comes to mind for me is the Trina Axe event.
Patrigo, the Patrigo shop event for the fourth time. That
Patrigo's shop event is definitely better than this.
Hunter Seal.
You think so? Oh, wow.
Hunter Seal event.
What was the Hunter Seal event?
Where you turned them into sharps and hards.
Oh, yeah, you had to turn like 300 in for like 6 sharps or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's tough. That's tough. They're both a huge, colossal waste of time in which your money goes backwards. But,
I know. It's actually the event that they just turned back on this time. Newly discovered treasures. Yeah, you can now go to Gaifin Temple and grind for your comp. Wait, grind for which one is it?
That one's
grind
actually not bad. There's one or two of those spots that are not total dog shit. So that,
but the Gaifin part of it here, that's definitely worse.
80-90% of it is worse, but there's at least something redeemable in the newly discovered treasures event. There's nothing redeemable about this 30 mil for 2 hours of processing weird ass beer event that they gave us, especially since they gave it to us instead of koi. How dare they take away our koi and give us this instead?
Well,
Aren't you excited to process beer and make no money?
That's a really easy question to answer, though. We can't control fish spotting, so instead of ruining the economy, everybody just gets to fucking process beer and Calpheon.
That's a them problem. That's not a me problem.
Turns out it is a you problem.
God, even if they couldn't control fish spotting, they could just put like an hourly ceiling on the amount of koi you could get. You know, like just have a
make
koi
it where
that you would only hit if you were botting. Like, I don't know, man.
You need to have diminishing returns. Make it where after you get 100 in a day, you just don't get any more or something.
PSA: not turning in your fish spotting friends only hurts you. Turn in your friends. Be a rat.
Dude, fish spotting it's so easy to catch people fish spotting. Like literally just put a timer in the game and you don't even have to have any like third party detection. You can just catch people behaviorally. It's so fucking easy.
I think anybody who active fishes for more than like 30 minutes should just be banned.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, yeah.
Yeah, like it's all right if you do it for a little bit because there's a couple of events or something, but if you're doing it for an hour, you're banned.
I want to say, I think I only did it for 15 minutes. I tested it last year to see how good it was, and yeah, I was just like, I can't do it anymore.
Well, you probably didn't have the
I actually made a video on it and everything. I did it full out, went all out on it.
You need about 460 accuracy to active fish properly.
If we just had one GM in this game who was actually moderating, the fish spotting would be solved overnight. It would be literally one person could do it. It's so fucking easy.
True. Well, anyway, the beer event sucks.
The dust event it's all right.
I don't understand why you can only make beer out of wheat and barley. Why can't you make it out of potatoes? Why can't you make it out of potatoes? I don't get it. You should be able to make it out of potatoes. You should be able to make it out of sweet potatoes or corn. All that stuff. You can make beer out of all of it.
I'm not going to make any of it at all, so I can't say I'm upset about the ingredients. I dipped out way before.
I have not done an in-depth test on this. I mean, 30 mil doesn't entice me whatsoever, so I didn't even consider doing this. What would be the amount of money they'd have to give a player? Right now, it's 30 million silver for completing it.
They need to make it not simple cooking. Simple cooking is dumb. It should be removed from the game. Every simple cooking or simple alchemy recipe in the game is stupid. None of them should fail. They should all be instant. Like, that whole system is just tedious, annoying, outdated, and does nothing except waste everybody's time. So that's the first thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they want to have an event for turning in beer, add an event cooking proc or something. And then when people cook, they get the proc and they turn in the proc and it's extra money on top of what they were already doing. Don't make them go and process a useless item for 2 hours for 30 mil.
Hold on. So you can do this overnight and you can get as much beer as you need to turn in for like a couple of days. I'm just kind of stacking this with my Imperial turn-ins and I'm like, oh, now I get 230 mil a day instead of 200. I mean, it's not a great event, but it's not bad. I mean, if it was 50 mil instead of 30, I think everybody would probably start looking at it a little more seriously. But you can front load it just like you front load any other Imperial thing. It's not a big deal. And then if it's a cooking thing, then you've got, the fucking idiot that's never done a life skill in his life going, I have to life skill. This sucks.
Well, the thing that really bothers me about this is right now, if you do this every day, it's 30 million. So that means 210 million a week, where previously fishing events for years have been at least $500 million per week. So this is less than half as efficient as it used to be. Now, if this was 60 or 75 million, then we could talk about it. But right now, this doesn't get close to replacing the fishing event.
Guys, it's free money, and it's probably the best overnight money you're doing, unless you're horse training like a madman. Because you can front load it. You just fucking front load it. You do it for 2 nights or something, and then you turn it in. There's nothing to bitch about here, except for that the koi was more, but that would overinflate the market like fucking crazy because of all the fish spotters and bullshit and all that stuff. So it just kind of is what it is.
Actually, I got a solution. I got a solution for it. Make it where it's not a quest. Make it where for every 50 I make, I can turn it in. That solves it right there. Right there, that solves it. Because that means every day I could be able to get about 90 million a day. That would solve the problem, actually.
Hold on. This is a good comment. So in the same episode, you guys go from complaining about flooding the economy with free stuff and then complain they're not giving as much free silver as before.
What's the difference between free stuff which is deposited into your account and bonus stuff for playing the game? Those are 2 completely different things.
True.
I know, but it's still...
And also, this is being compared to the fishing events of past. So it has to be at least equal to the fishing events. And I don't think
the fishing events were good for the economy.
No, they definitely weren't. But people like them. That's
those events, dude. I make so much money every time these Papegas drive the price of useless items up. Money. It's fucking great. It's the koi event is like redistribution of wealth, except it goes in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? It's like socialism, but backwards.
True.
Capitalism?
No, kind of. It takes all the money from the poorest, dumbest players and funnels it up to the richest players who don't need it. I fucking love it, dude. They need to bring it back.
Yeah, capitalism.
All right, so that's our first event.
Patriotic.
That's our first event. Our second event for August is goes until September 2nd. Is Ancient Spear Dust is now pouring. So it basically applies to all servers.
It's drizzling, maybe.
How much more do you get per hour?
I'm pretty fucking pissed off that it's not with Gathering too. Like, kind of really fucking pissed off about that.
Yeah,
I'm out here gathering meat for like 10 Caffers an hour, and I would love it if I was getting 15. But then chopping trees,
gives you dust.
Kerr would make 350 mil an hour if they did that chopping trees. So I guess
that's true.
That's the reason they didn't. Fucking Kerr ruining everything.
He does make a lot of money doing that. How much do you get?
Caffers?
It's like 5 or 10 mil an hour at Star's End, I think.
Yeah,
I was not a huge buff.
Oh, so this is just like Blackstone's, and all monsters have the same drop rate. So the more monsters you kill per hour, the more money you make.
Yeah.
So Polyforce is probably like OP for this event.
I was making 4 to 6 Caffras an hour at Star's Ends, and now I make 6 to 7. It's lit.
Yeah, 12 mil.
Cool.
Not bad.
So it really hasn't affected the Caffers market like at fucking all.
Is it still like max price for it?
I'm shocked that Caffers aren't sold out. I'm shocked.
There's a very slight dip in Caffers, but who knows if that's due to the event or if that's just Caffers being Caffers.
Dude, there's like, I've been trying to study like what times. I think it's best to buy Caffers in the morning. It seems.
Oh, for sure. Definitely not like before Siege or before Node War or anything.
4 a.m. to 10 a.m. roughly.
It's so weird. It's such an active market. It's like microtransactions. It's like the fucking stock market or something.
Yeah.
So it's not as much as I was hoping it'd be. I bet it's actually like 5 per hour at Polyforest because you kill so many mobs there. So I bet you actually get like 5 cavers per hour. Polyforest is probably lit right now for money per hour compared to what it normally is.
Well, great. Another reason to grind polys and nowhere else from 100 to 240 AP.
Yup.
I feel so bad when people come in chat. Hey, I've been grinding polys for 2 months and I'm 230 AP. Where should I grind now?
Polyforest.
Polys Forest.
To be fair, Centaurs, Manchums, and Bloodwolves are definitely contenders now.
Yeah, maybe Blood Wolves.
Centaurs depends on your market. Like, there's a lot that varies there with Blackstones and stuff.
That's it, though.
Centaurs was good until they nerfed the BMC drop
Especially
rate.
Musa. Like, Musa it's a no-brainer to go there. Honestly, you can go there and farm on Arsha, and you can make like 100 mil an hour. It's definitely possible in Musa to make really good money there. Now, a lot of the other classes, not so much, but depends on how much movement speed you have.
About these purple pirates.
Ooh, yeah, let's get to that. All right, so this next event that no one cares about is the treasure item event is back. So you can grind other places. Which ones are good, Moreland? Kadri's is pretty good. What's about any of the other ones?
Feather Wolves.
The hunting one is good if you need the hunting piece. Hold on, let me look at the list.
The grinding Feather Wolves is really good.
I've heard Kadri's is okay. I know that like Sakraya Upper and Prodi Cave, there's only one mob that drops the piece, and it's a mob that only exists like 3 or 4 times in the whole rotation. So it's unless they cranked the drop rate way up, those are going to be significantly worse than grinding Shuriken or Tooth Fairy. But yeah, the Narc piece, or the hunting piece, and then I don't know, the Narc piece you can only get from Fennel, who's like the panther looking wolf. He's not the regular feather wolf, so that one seems pretty as well.
Really? I thought it was all the Feather Wolves.
No, it only drops from that's why this event is such a troll, because like you go to Upper Sakraya and only the big crab drops it, and there's like 3 of them in the rotation. You go to Feather Wolves, there's 80 Feather Wolves and 3 Fennel, and only the Fennel drops it. Like all of these spots are like that, so that's why this event is so it's like really kind of baits you into going somewhere that's worse than the original spot. But the hunting, from what I've heard, the hunting Feather Wolves for the Navran Steppe piece is like really, really good.
So yeah, so that's way better than tanning. I can see that because there's so many of them compared to what you would normally find out running around Navran Steppe.
Yeah, really good density, and you scale it with like your hunting, your mono skier. You can get chance. So
all right. So you said hunting, and what was the other one? Was there another one?
I don't know. I'm looking at it.
Kadri's I thought was pretty good. I got one of my pieces of Kadri's.
Which Kadri mobs drop it?
The guy with 2 axes and what was the other one? There's 2 of them that drop it though. It's like the big giant guy who has 2 axes though. Looks like a Zerker. He drops it, and then I think it's the guy with the shield that drops it. There's 2 of them that drop it though.
The elite.
Maybe it's the elite. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought Kadri's is pretty good. Yeah, someone in my chat says Commander.
I wish we could see the drop rates. Like, I guess there's a possibility that these mobs have, a 20 times higher rate than the normal ones do, and in that case, I guess it would be viable. There's less of them in the rotation, but why would you ever grind Upper Sakraya where there's 3 crabs when you could go to a Ronaros rotation that has 40 guardians and catchers and do that instead? Like, it's just clearly way better.
Yeah, I actually tried out Sakraya, and you can get in one rotation on like a Meiwa or a Musa that's kind of fast moving. You can get about 4 or 5 crabs on rotation, but then you go over to Toothberry Forest with Forest Naros mobs, and you get like maybe 30 in a rotation. It's just not comparable. So maybe the drop rate's like you said, but it's not comparable, I don't think.
I went to Arsha Featherwolves just to fuck around, and the PvP was super fun. And then I was on Arsha season server for a couple hours before the podcast. And I needed a bodyguard because I only have like 190 AP, but it still has pretty good fights out there. So I don't know. I like that they do this. I mean, we can nitpick about the percentage, but it brings people to different areas and creates, conflict and stuff like that. And it's fun. I think it's fine and fun. And I like that they do it every once in a while.
I would like to see when they bring this event back to change the locations every time. And I think that would make it more interesting because if you just get bored, then you at least have some new place to go to.
Let's go to Arsha Gyphon right now and see if there's any assholes grinding it. Let's grief them. For real.
Well, that brings us to a new grind spot, actually. Paddocks Island. That's part of the news this week. They added a new grind spot, Paddocks Island. It's over at the old Pirates. The Pirates Cave has been there for a very, very, very long time, but no one actually used to grind there. And so the way you enter is through the little canal between the traditional Pirate Island grind spot and Paddocks Island. There's like a little cave entrance there. There's also a couple of cave entrances on top of the Paddocks Island itself. You can climb down inside. Have you guys been there? I don't have enough gear to go there DP wise, so I haven't been able to try it out.
Yeah, I went there. You don't need any DP to go there. It's super easy.
Oh yeah. What do you guys think? I like the earring. The earring looks a little weak compared to like the Centaur belt, but it's probably just an indicator that the Centaur belt's too powerful, and not necessarily that the earring's bad.
I don't know if you can really compare earring to belt like that, but the earring's solid if you're going for a DP build. I think people are probably going to end up overpaying for it, and the price for the earring is pretty much single-handedly going to determine if the spot is viable or not. I think the earrings probably got to get to about 200 mil to make the spot viable, and if it does, then it'll be a good alternative to Monastery. Anything less than that, I just don't think there's enough other shit dropping to make up for it. But in the theory, you could drop like enhanced blue coral earrings and stuff. I mean, they're not going to be that common, but there's other kind of weird stuff you can get out there since you are grinding pirates. But the bulk of what you're getting is trash and earrings. That's like almost all the money out there. So the earring price is going to determine whether or not it's viable. But it's decent. It's not awful.
How many earrings do you get per hour? Yeah, roughly. I mean, it's new, but
I don't know. We don't have enough. I'm waiting for the price to go up, and then I'll probably go test it again.
Okay.
It seems decent. The drop rate seems decent so far. It's probably similar to the drop rate on Dawn earrings. So
that'd be good.
This is out at Pirate Island.
Yeah, this is way easier than the Dawn earring grind though. Like these guys, they're only dangerous when they have the purple smoke, and you basically run over to the vase and you spend 3 mil, and the purple stuff goes away, and then the mobs are back to normal. So
3 mil,
unless you just don't do that, it's not that difficult. The mobs do any damage when they're not in range. They're super easy.
I don't think I'm going out to Pirate Island to make 200 mil an hour.
I think the problem is when you have to compare it to like Stars End, and it's just nothing beats that. So unless you're just tired of Stars End, then you're not going to go to Abandoned Monastery or Paddocks Island right now. But I don't think that's a problem with those grind spots. I think it's a problem with Stars End being a little overtuned. I
don't disagree with that. If I'm grinding, I'm going to Stars End.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm 275.9 mil an hour over. Oh God. So many hours, like 100 hours or something. So why would it, and it's just in Calpheon. Where would I go anywhere? Why would I go anywhere else?
Yeah, true. I think overall though, why you guys? Sorry, go ahead.
What can they do to make we don't want them nerfing Stars End, right? Do you think they should be giving slight buffs to like Kratuga and Sikria or something? I mean,
I think
the market's got to decide the value of these places too, right? Like it's based on the price of distortions and Tungrad rings and things like that.
Yeah,
there's two different ways they can do it. They can increase the value of the earrings that are there because they want it to be based on the earring prices, so they can buff those in some way, and then they indirectly, then the grind spot gets buffed because the earrings go up in price. So that's, I think, probably the best way of handling it. And if they don't want to do that and they want to strong arm the economy, then I think going for the trash loot at Stars End and making it more of this a pure RNG grind, I think would be the best way of going about it, because you can then really fine tune it exactly how you want based on how the majority of economies across the world in BDO are working. And most economies have the distortion very high in price.
It's still an RNG grind, right? Like a lot of people still go to Sakurai because there's a little bit more EXP and it's a really like safe grind. You're gonna make 210, 225 mil an hour every single hour without fail. It's not really gonna fluctuate. Maybe you get a couple extra red shards and you're like, oh my god. But Star's End, people go 10, 20, 30 hours plus dry, and that is a terrible 60 mil an hour. I mean, those are rough hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got your ecology, you've got the node invested, you've got a comma buff, you've got all the stuff you need to get the most amount of luck, it's probably pretty hard not to get 250 mil an hour there.
I like that though. I like that there's a lottery that you're playing at Star's End and a more consistent game that you're playing at Sakurai, right? Like I don't want every spot to feel the same.
It's player choice, right? It depends on what the player wants. If the player wants a safe grind, then Sakurai Abyss level. If you want more RNG, and some people do. I like that there's diversity in grind spots, and with Abandoned Monastery and with Paddocks Island now, you have more diversity again, because now if you want a group grind spot, you should have that. And I think Paddocks Island, I think one spot should be heavy RNG money, and the other one should be extremely consistent money. Again, that way, if you want a 2-man, then you have 2-man RNG, and you have 2-man consistent. And I would like to see that with one of those. And right now, I feel like both of them kind of lean on the RNG side a little bit too much. Or maybe they can do a third grind spot, because if they continue updating these old grind spots, I would love to see them go through and do another grind spot like this.
My biggest problem with the Paddocks Island thing is that it just feels a little uninspired. Like when they added Monastery, you collect these, gobbledygoos on the ground or whatever, and then you spawn the boss. And the boss has guaranteed drops, and it's a PvP objective. It gets announced. You can go there. You can steal it from people. There's all this cool stuff that they added with Monastery. With Paddocks Island, it's like, oh, you spend 3 mil and you click a button. That's the mechanic. It just feels super stale. Like I don't really know what they were going for. There's so much fun, interesting shit that they could add to Paddocks Island to either make it another open world PvP spot, or just maybe have some sort of mini boss that spawns, or maybe there's some objective that pops out and you have like a certain amount of time to kill it, and the faster you kill it, the higher the drop rate is. Like there's all sorts of cool things they could be adding to these new spots. And instead, I just don't get the spend 3 mil and click a button mechanic. Like,
this is what I would like to see him do with that jar. This is what I'd like to see him do. You basically, the jar appears, you have to have a player crafted item. Not to say 3 mil and you go there. Just a player crafted item. You have to craft it ahead of time, plan to go there. And when you actually use it on the jar, it gives you a 30% cast speed, attack speed buff. And an AP buff, and actually increases your efficiency grinding at the grind spot. So you have this grind spot where basically you have permanently, while grinding there, you have 20-30% cast speed, attack speed. It makes it a very unique and fun grind spot, because your class fundamentally plays faster than it would at other grind spots. So you actually have something that's fundamentally different. I'd like to see something like that, rather than just kill this and so you can continue grinding. It feels like a chore, is what it currently feels like. But I mean, something that fundamentally changes how I play the game is why I like Abandoned Monastery. It's why I like Miramach Ruins. It's why I like Gyfin. It's the reason why I like a lot of these new grind spots, because it fundamentally changes how I'm playing the game in a small way, not in a major way, in a small way. And again, they need to have something I agree with you, at Paddocks Island, that has something that changes the game in a small way fundamentally, that makes it interesting. And then players can choose if they like that or not.
Yeah, I don't know about the attack speed thing, but
yeah, it's just so I agree. There's something. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something.
More bosses, more objectives, just something to do.
Yeah.
That's not click on a base.
I mean, we can come up with ideas like you said all day long, and it doesn't matter. The idea doesn't matter. It's something different.
Looking at the stats on these earrings, I was wondering what you guys thought, because I'm a little bit torn on this. This earring has unique scaling that we haven't seen on any other item in the game. They started it with a 2-to-1 ratio of
what's the name of it?
Ethereal earring. So they started with 2-to-1 scaling. So that's for every sheet evasion you get from this item, you get 2 hidden evasion. And then when you enhance it, it only gains it gains 2 sheet but 1 hidden. So the scaling is like reverse of where it starts, and then when it gets to pin, it breaks even at a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's like very, I don't know, it's loaded more heavily on sheet than it is on evasion. And the enhancing for it is you're also getting sheet DR. So like you're getting 3 sheet every time you upgrade it, which is a big bump. But the evasion that you're getting relative to where it started is less and less effective every level. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me. And I feel like the whole sheet plus hidden stats thing is already confusing enough, and most people who play this game still don't understand like what it means or why it's like that. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to decide how I feel about it.
I thought I had evasion figured out years ago, and as time goes on, the more I don't understand it. Because originally in the game, we had, and still today, we have magic attacks, we have ranged attacks, and we have melee attacks. The ranged classes are Ranger and Archer. The magic classes are magic dealing classes, and melee classes are melee. You can't figure that out. And originally we thought that when it had hidden evasion, the reason you got 3 of it was you got 1 hidden evasion for magic, 1 hidden evasion for melee, and 1 hidden for ranged. But as time has gone on, they just haven't stuck to this 1-to-3 ratio. And so now we're like, what is actually going on with it? How does this actually work? How much accuracy do you need to counter evasion? And stuff like that.
The 1-to-3, I mean, we have the answers to a lot of that stuff. The 1-to-3 ratio doesn't exist on a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces are a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2, which is what I mean. That's kind of what I'm getting at, though, is that the fact that DP is such a confusing stat in this game. You have not only you have DP that comes from DR, and you have DP that comes from evasion, and you're getting the same number for those things, even though they have wildly different outcomes. But then even further than that, the same, even if it's an evasion piece, you have some evasion pieces that are like 50% better, or in some cases, maybe even twice as good as another piece that has the same amount of DP on it that's also evasion. So DP becomes kind of almost a meaningless number. Like with the new pack that's coming out that's increasing the DP brackets, it's like it sort of brings it back into relevance, but it's so weirdly convoluted the way that they do it. And now they're adding items like this that are even more confusing to the mix. I'm just wondering what precedent this sets for going forward. Like, are they just going to start playing around with like weird, odd ratios of sheet to hidden stats just to throw everyone for a loop? Like,
I would like to see them just combine hidden and visible, because they're all technically visible now. Originally, all the hidden stats, when the game first came out, you couldn't see any of them. And they did that intentionally to make the game more complex and hard to understand. And then they eventually, players discovered that there had these hidden stats in the game, and they revealed them, and now we have them all visible. At least we believe we have them all visible. And so I feel like they should just rework it, combine the 2 numbers, and add them up all into our sheet, so we can just see it. Give me 1 number for my total DR, 1 number for my total evasion, 1 number for my total accuracy, and 1 number for my total AP. Just add it all up. And then if I hover over it, then break it down for me. Like, okay, this is how much you're getting from brackets. This is how much you're getting from sheet. This is how much you're getting for whatever. And that way, at least when players play the game, they can just see their stats. I mean, in other games, you can press your character menu, and your character menu gives you a detailed breakdown of everything that's going on in like Paddocks Island, Diablo 3, even in World of Warcraft, they have
the fact that you have to use third-party tools in this game to figure out like how much evasion and shit you have. I mean, the game doesn't total any of these stats up for you. It doesn't explain to you the impact of hidden evasion versus sheet evasion. Like all the stuff that we know, we basically only know because of Big and Shiny. If we didn't have this one like godly statistician spending thousands of hours figuring this stuff out, we wouldn't even know half of what we know.
True.
But even with all this information, it's still like it's impossible to explain any of this shit to new players, and it makes your gear decisions so confusing and convoluted, even if you do understand how it works.
Tim, is this your face? I found your face.
On Serendia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I murked on Saturday. I murked on Saturday into Ascendance. I heard they're all a bunch of Tim Allen simps. So I came in there and led them to victory in a glorious my return to Siege was extremely glorious. I stayed on my life skill alts and made Balanos meals, because that is my homeland, while I shot called for Adamant, and they crushed in a sweaty 1v1. So in honor of that, they put my a really weird picture that they all sexually gratified themselves to of me on my stream.
Well, there we go. Okay, well that explains that. I guess sorry to get us off on a tangent there. I was really curious because I was just running by doing a quest and I saw this. So I was like, okay, well, let me ask what's going on here.
I love having my face in the game, dude. I really do. I love it when people do that shit.
We were talking about the new earring and how stats don't really make a whole lot of sense and stuff like that right now. And I do hope that they rework it where everything's on your sheet and easy to understand for accuracy, DR, evasion, and AP. Because right now it is too convoluted for even veteran players to figure out, let alone new players to figure out. So it's definitely something that I think it would be enjoyable. I would like to know what other grind spots would you like to see them rework? They are focusing on grind spots that are not in the main quest line, it looks like. So what grind spots can they kind of touch and nobody would care?
Bro, they need to add a shitload of time-filled Blackstones to Kuwait Island. It is a war crime that you play the seasons and Kuwait Island is irrelevant. I don't know what they're thinking, man. Are there no OGs left in this game? Where are my boomer devs who played in 2016? Add some fucking season gear to Kuwait Island. It's the best spot in the game. Always has been. Always will be. You can't make a spot that's more enjoyable than Back Mountain at Pirates. It's a fucking perfect grind spot. Let us go there at the start of a season, devs. That's it. I'm done.
I actually hope they turn Pirate Island into like a 230 AP grind spot or something like that. Something a little bit more relevant. That's what I'd like to see. I think that'd be pretty dope.
I want to see Pirates V2 at Port Rat, and you have to go all the way out to Margoria.
Yes! That's a way better idea. Oh, they should do that. Just copy the entire island. You don't have to make a new one. Just copy it just like you copied Red Battlefield. Or what is it? Is that what it's called? Red Battlefield? They copied that one, right? So just copy Pirate Island and just paste it over there at Port Rat and just up their levels and loot and stuff. And that'd be perfect. Perfect. I love it.
Well, neither of you guys ever did a lot of pirates back in the day. So I was going to ask what it is about Kuwait Island that's so fucking magical. But you guys weren't paid pirate grinders, so you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I think it's the risk versus reward. Because you had the coins.
I went out there for GVGs pretty often, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fighting out there was great, but I just couldn't be fucked to grind out there.
I think it's the combination. I think it's the combination of needing to do trading for it, so you're a little bit more invested in the grind spot. So there's additional investment there. You're choosing to invest time in there, and then also the coins added this just enough risk. Where if you die, you get mad about it. You lost something, and you know when you kill somebody that they lost something. And that's actually what makes it so satisfying. Is that there's just enough risk versus reward there. Not enough where you can grieve people, but enough where it actually feels good to kill somebody. I think that's what it really came down to. Because no grind spot has done that other than that.
I liked how it had like kind of scaling. Viability at the spots too. Like you had Top Mountain, which was kind of the pleb rotation, and so like if you got kicked out of jungle, you could go there for a while, and like that was your consolation grind. And then you had main that usually had groups in it. Like I don't know, man, there was just something magical about pirates that I feel like they haven't managed to capture in other places. I think part of it too is like the mob layout and the density and just the way that you go through the rotation. Although I think they've done a pretty decent job with that at like Stars Inn and Sakraya too, in terms of making the place like feel really packed and your polls aren't, too terrible. But yeah, there's just something about like running up and down the, the jungle in Back Mountain. That it's just infinitely satisfying. Like even when I went back and did it on Xbox last year, I was like, okay, maybe I'm just nostalgic for this, so I'm gonna get bored in 5 minutes. But like, no, it was super. Like I fucking loved it the entire time. When Valencia came out, I was like, damn it, I just want to stay a pirate.
Yeah, they kind of rushed through Medaya. But to answer the question, I think the easy answer for a rework spot is Sawsons, man. I can't believe they did Schultz and not Sawsons. I mean, not to meme you or anything, but it really was like the littest of the lit,
I don't know.
So why have it? There was like 3 and 5 man groups that go through there. Like Sawsons was such a large part of the first couple years of this game, right? It was Sawsons, then Pirates. So Pirates is done. Let's get Sawsons ramped up and having fun, and make it even viable for 3 and 5 man groups to go through there, because that shit was lit. The GVGs that would happen out there, I grinded Sawsons and like hoping you get a rotation by yourself, but you probably have to share it and all that kind of stuff. It was fun. I really like Sawsons back in the day. I don't know about grinding it in 2020, but you know, you can.
I still enjoy. I went to Schultzgard when they just recently, right? And I immediately had nostalgia. I was like, oh man, I miss this so much. And maybe that's all it is. I'm really curious if someone who's newer to the game grinded Schultzgard a lot, if they would still have that like, this is amazing feeling, you know?
Maybe the rework of Sawsons is really just having the accuracy to properly grind it.
It's a big thing, all right? Leave me alone. It's important. Listen, I'm gonna have my crazy build. I'm gonna go and prove everybody that my strategies are gonna work for Stars End. Or no, not Stars End. Ash Forest. Ash Forest.
Divvy Human. Oh, okay. That's even better. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that YouTube video.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
Oh.
This was an interesting change. They added a return button at the end of Node War if you took the Node War summon. So nice for Valencia Wars. You get to take the fort summon and then go back to wherever you were before that.
Nice guild master buff too.
I actually don't like that change. The reason I don't like that change is it makes BDO not feel like a game world anymore. You're not in it, because the whole point of having to go to someplace makes it feel like you're actually in a world. And so the immersion is taken away when you teleport. It's the same reason why I don't really...
Shut up.
It's the reason why I don't like T8 horses and Dream horses as much.
Oh my god.
It was the last leave Node War in Valencia potion.
Yeah.
I've been in Node Wars in Valencia. I've done several there.
So when you finished your Node War in Valencia, you immersively auto-pathed across the desert back to Sangrain and then mapped when you got halfway there?
I think the main problem with the desert is the fact that they made you have to walk across the desert for them. I don't think there should be any Node Wars in the desert, like, period. I think those are
the only ones that people are going to use this for. No one's going to use it for like a ballot house Node War.
I mean, I think
taking house buffs anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that is a problem with Node Wars. I think that's a problem with just a few of the Node Wars that happen in the desert. I think instead of doing that, they should just remove those.
Is to get out of a tedious run back that people were just using CTG to get out of anyways. Like, if your CTG didn't get used during your Node War in Valencia, then it got used immediately afterwards to get everyone back to Velia. Like, it was just kind of
definitely.
I think this is a nice little convenient thing they added. I don't think it ruins anyone's immersion.
I need you to answer Marlon's question, Potion. Answer the fucking question.
What was the question? Oh, why walk? Oh yeah, I'd walk back.
Would you immersively walk back and map halfway through?
I mean, I walked back. That's what I did. Or I had my camel. Most of the time, I had my elephant for a few of them.
What? You had your wait, explain to me how you had your camel for Valencia Node War. Explain
I didn't bring my horse.
so you walked. You didn't take the guild summon. You walked. Did you take
back when I did it? There wasn't a guild summon. That's something new.
Okay, so you have no fucking idea what you're talking about, is what you're saying.
No. Back when I was doing Node Wars, seriously, they didn't have the guild teleport. That's a newer feature that they added like two years ago.
Is it? I guess it is.
There was no guild teleport back in the day. So I walked out there, and then I would walk my ass back. That's what I did.
Yeah, and that was I guess you play this game on like Control U all the time and take in the scenery, and you've memorized the entire map. So, okay. So for the rest of us that don't have whatever brain damage that is, running back from.
I just enjoy the game differently. I like the feeling of a game world, and right now BDO feels like a very small game world. That's why this feels like a very small game world to me right now. Because T8 horses, I can go across 3 regions in like 10 minutes. I can literally go from Valencia to Grana in 15 minutes. It just feels like a very small game world now because of all the changes they've made. And it's the reason I didn't like Arcade either, because Arcade had this teleport system where you could teleport anywhere you wanted to be, And the original game, Arcade Unchained, that is. Arcade, when it first came out, didn't have all that teleporting. You had to take your boat across the ocean. And if you're going, you're committed. And then there was limited teleports where you could teleport back to like where your house was. So where you had your house was a very important choice. And I feel like in BDO, your guild teleport was that in BDO. And so the more of these things that they substitute in for guild teleports and maps and stuff like that, that devalues the map, devalues guild teleports, and it really makes the game feel a lot smaller. And then you're spending most of your time just in a grind spot instead of actually, because just think about it this way, right? You have 4 hours to play BDO. You sit down, you maybe spend 30 minutes running around different places in BDO. Nowadays, you don't have to spend 30 minutes running around different places in BDO. You spend all 4 hours in a grind spot and maybe 15 minutes clicking enhancements, and that's it. It's just not, you're not doing very much different stuff. You're just spending all your time grinding. It's just very boring. It's not very fun. You get, or maybe you go gather for an hour and then you go, grind for 3 hours, and that's it. It's not much diversity there.
I'm sorry. I've been a little rough on you this podcast. I respect that opinion. I really do. I really do respect that opinion. But from my perspective I've led a guild for like 2 years of the 4 years that I've played this game. One of the things that people appreciated the most was being CTG'd back after like a Sunday Eastern Valencia.
But who did they appreciate? Think about it. Who did they appreciate? They appreciate the guild master taking the time to do that. Now, who do they appreciate? Pearlbis. They appreciate Pearlbis. Thanks, Pearlbis, for
God damn it, they're taking my clout again! You're right, Potion. You're right.
I know.
No, they appreciated skipping the fucking boring ass, no benefit, waste of time fucking walk, because not everybody gets lost and enjoys the scenery. Some people only have a couple hours, or they're just like, Node War's really late. They want to put their kid to bed, or they want to have dinner with their family, or they want to go out and, have sexual intercourse with other people. Like, people do other things besides just play BDO for 12 hours. So cutting away, having the ability or the option to cut away time. If you want to RP walk back, you can RP walk back. But some people want to get to their grind because they can only play 3 hours a week or something. They don't want to spend 10 minutes traversing the thing. You can ride your T5 horse all you want, right?
Let me explain why this is why I enjoyed that better back in the day. Because the reason video games are fun, especially the older you get, is you realize video games are fun because of social interactions. Social interactions give a MMO meaning. If you're not going to have social interactions, you can just go play Ghost of Tsushima. Great game. Amazing game. Social interactions are what make an MMO great. Now, if you want to, The Witcher, awesome solo game. Cyberpunk City, awesome, going to be an awesome solo game to play through. Those are not bad. Breath of the Wild, awesome solo game to play through. MMOs need social interactions, and so what I personally miss is I miss the dynamic of, hey, I'm walking back with 3 of my guildmates, and hey, what are you up to? Talking to them in Discord. Or, hey, I'm riding my horse back from Sangren Bazaar and somebody knocks me off my horse. Nowadays, you go so fast on a horse, good luck catching me. You're all those social dynamics that used to happen are just being deleted one by one. So now you show up to a node war, you don't talk to anybody, you listen to someone scream at you in your headphone, then you teleport out, and there's no social interaction at all. Where before you're like, yo, fucking GM, give me a teleport, bro, and then you're like, he's like, I gotta go to a movie, bye-bye, and he's like, fuck you, and it's like, you'd have like these interactions that would happen, you have these interactions that would happen. And I feel like those are being taken away. And if they substitute those with other social interactions, like other ways to encourage PvP in open world or things like that, I just feel like they're removing some of the social interactions without replacing them. And if they had a replacement for those, I'd be a lot less upset.
This is the strangest thing to listen to, because I agree with everything you're saying in theory. But the examples, every single example that you've chosen to make your point is like the worst possible example.
I guess the thing is, the theory behind it is what I agree with. How they implement social interactions in the game, I don't care. I was like, this is like my idea for what was that earlier? The idea that it had for the Paddocks Island jar and giving cast speed, attack speed. I don't care what they actually change about it. I just want them to change something that makes it more interesting. I can give them an idea. My idea will probably be garbage, but the base idea, the theory behind it, is what matters to me. The what I'm trying to imply they should change.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, I dislike fast travel in MMOs, and I think that it's cool when you have to actually go and et cetera, et cetera. But like, dude, in this instance, when you're doing a node war in Valencia, like you're not actually fighting for something in Valencia. It's just the setting for the war. You teleport out there, you get your PvP, you teleport back. You don't need to like travel there. You don't need an extra hour and a half of like bullshit that you have to go through before and after. That kind of thing should just be as accessible as possible to the highest number of people because it's already content that's kind of like dying anyways. You know what I mean?
Is that a problem? I feel like there's two sides to that coin though. One is the problem truly that it's not accessible enough, or is the problem that the rewards are not good enough, or that the region is not tied to is not desirable? There's no reason to have a desirable reason, right? Maybe if you had a node in Valencia, maybe all of the nodes that your workers work at give you 200% more loot. Like that would give you a reason to take that territory.
A reason if the node actually had an impact on that part of the world, then yeah, I could see like making it a thing to go and travel to that part of the world with your.
My point is like it's two sides to that problem,
That's
right?
not the system we have, right? Like we have
right now we have a system that doesn't work for anybody. So yes, I agree. It doesn't work for anybody. Who does it work for? Nobody. Literally, the siege goats are in tier 1s now. It doesn't work for anybody.
I would love to play the old version of BDO where we were all on slow horses and it took forever to get to Kuwait Island, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the ship has sailed. I don't think we live in that world of BDO anymore. I think that's, they might be able to bring something like that back if they ever do Hasso Island or, Margoria Part 2. But I think they've kind of, I don't know. I feel like that ship has sailed.
You don't think they can recapture that feeling?
I don't think they can. No.
They'd have to make a classic version of the game.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a natural progression. So I think you actually bring up a really good point, Potion, to really give your argument cadence. And yeah, you did bring up some bad examples, but social interaction is really important within the game. And I find myself kind of subconsciously craving that. Where if I see somebody autopathing, I'll knock them off and I'll sub to Tamal and 1 through 7 and keep rolling, right? Because like otherwise, this is a single player MMO. And some people in chat have brought up that other MMOs had trouble because they kind of got rid of the social interactions. So I've realized that I've kind of been craving that within my gameplay lately. I just don't know if teleporting back from a Valencia node war is the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we're gonna do it, then we should do it intentionally. It shouldn't be like the interactions or the social interactions shouldn't be like, oh, we all have to walk back from the node war together. Like no one's doing that. Everyone's just sitting their autopath and going and eating dinner after the node war. Like it's not actually immersive. It's just tedious. If we had an immersive world where it felt meaningful to travel to places like it did in BDO Classic, then okay. But we don't. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about chores. We're talking about making the game have less chores.
Time gating, nothing. Literally just time getting back to town.
So this is what happened in World of Warcraft, and this is a good example of, or maybe a better example. Hopefully, you guys can judge me. World of Warcraft added flying mounts. This happened a little ways into the game, and when they did that, it basically killed all open world PvP because it basically spreaded the player base out in a 3-dimensional plane. And then nobody ever ran into anybody anymore. It just killed PvP. Open world PvP just instantly died. And then what they did is they added teleport to dungeons and raids. And so now you can ascend a city and you don't go anywhere and you can do dungeons and raids. So now there's literally no open world PvP and then you never have any interactions with anybody ever because you just teleport everywhere. So the game world feels like complete garbage. You don't feel like you're in a game world anymore. They could literally just make it I really wish you weren't on. I really wish you weren't on push to talk, man. That would have been an epic sneeze.
I'm muted, so.
No, don't. I want to hear the power. What was that you said? There was enough power in that sneeze to power New York City for a lifetime or something like that. There was something.
I'm a powerful man.
You had your visor on, man. You were going like full LeVar Burton, dude. You were Geordie LaForge in the engineering room there. That was lit.
For anyone watching this, listening to this on audio, Moreland just had the most epic sneeze of all time, and you guys just missed it. It was epic.
He didn't hold on to his headset like a normal human being. He just like.
I completely lost what we're talking about. What was I saying?
I would even go as so far to say that flight paths is too much fast travel in World of Warcraft, and that the only way you should be able to teleport is if you pay a mage, because that's how it was in EverQuest.
Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah.
A huge deal, and I loved it, dude. Like waiting for that fucking boat, or like having a druid or a wizard friend actually made like a huge difference because they were the only people out of like 16 classes that could teleport. I love that kind of shit, but BDO is just not designed that way. Could it be? I mean, maybe if we went back to Medaya and redesigned the world a little bit, but like the way that they've set it up now, the game's just not meant to be played as this like kind of slow, immersive theme park. It's way more ADHD. It's way more like daily quests and dog shit, and like it's just they could go in that direction, but that's not the BDO that we have now.
So the thing that I used to enjoy about BDO, and I think a lot of people used to enjoy about BDO, is that there used to be open world PvP that turned into GVGs, that turned into notable rivalries. And nowadays we don't have any of that. And I feel like this is a small step, but it's the next step in making the whole process less interactions between players. So I don't really care about this necessarily hill, and I don't want to die on it in particular. But the topic of less interactions in the community is something that I don't enjoy. And I've seen it happen in World of Warcraft, and I see BDO doing this is another step in that direction. And I would like to see him start taking steps in more community interactions. Here's a good example for what World of Warcraft did recently. They just had an event kickoff in World of Warcraft. And what this event is basically you get infected. There's basically ghouls that run into a town. Anybody in the town gets infected. After a certain amount of time, I think it's like 60 seconds, you turn into a ghoul, and then you can infect other people. And so basically, sometimes the town is entirely infected to the brim with ghouls. Players that are infected, and sometimes people get infected and then they run as far as they can to the next town over, teleport, go as far as they can to the next town, and then they convert a whole random town that's not supposed to be corrupted at all into all ghouls. And so you just go to a random town sometimes and you're like, Stormwind is overrun with ghouls right now. What the heck is going on? And it's not supposed to be there. But it's because the player interaction thing is making that happen. It's just a short-term event to get everybody hyped up for Shadowlands or whatever the new expansion is coming out. But it's very interesting because there's tons and tons and tons of player interaction. You can go look up YouTube videos if you guys are interested in that. But that's the type of thing that I'd like to see in BDO. To some extent, I'd like to see them take the game in some direction where we have more player interactions, where I have to pair up with a wizard or a witch, or like you said, Morlin, for teleporting, or maybe I have to pair up with a shy for healing or grinding at a grind spot, or I have to have somebody with a full DP build in order to tank the mobs at a grind spot. Or maybe there's an event where all mobs do 300% damage, but they also they deal 30% less damage to tanks. I don't know, like I don't care what it is. Like I said, I don't care what the idea is. My ideas are always weird. But I want something with more social interaction that encourages that. I missed that.
So, lots to unpack there. Number one, that event didn't age well. It's called coronavirus, and yikes. But I'd like to tell a quick story about social interaction. I guess I've been a little focused and spoiled on efficiency, because I remember when I started EverQuest 1, we really wanted to go, me and my friend of mine, really wanted to go to a different area. We started in Wood Elves and we wanted to go somewhere else. And we had to like scrape up money and find a mage who could teleport us there. And then we got there, and it was before like you could just research everything in wiki and all that kind of stuff, right? It's like 2001 or 2002. Like some people have broadband. We get there and we went to like some place that was like level 40 and we're like level 22 or something like that. So we were literally fucking stranded to the point where we just made new characters. Because it took so long to get out there.
Yeah, dude.
And we were just fucking broke. And we had no idea. There's no map in that game. You either know where you are or you're an asshole. And so we're just a bunch of assholes laughing at ourselves. And we just, we're level 20 or something. It was a couple hours. We just started over and went, well, I guess we won't go there next time. So
that's awesome.
There's so much magic in MMOs there's been a lot that like we could do so many cool things now. So many cool things. And there's a lot of cool stuff ostensibly on the horizon, but some of that magic of just like what the fuck are we gotten into is definitely gone. But I think this has been a good conversation because I haven't thought about social interaction at all in this game, and it is being diminished. And I think that is kind of a natural progression of MMOs as they kind of open up, as Joe said in some of the earlier episodes, where they just, here's some free shit, here's some, you can just pay to win all this stuff, just kind of fucking whatever, just have fun, play at high APs, just play the game, whatever. So, yeah, that was a good little rabbit hole.
Yeah, it was. All right, we were originally talking about Paddocks Island and the new earring.
Wow.
Then we got into Node Wars, I think, after that, because they made this small Node War teleport change.
Project Green.
I didn't. Is there anything else in the patch notes that I didn't look through them too closely this week? Is there anything else in there that I missed?
I was on.
Let me check. My game just crashed for some reason.
You really AFK train while you do the podcast?
What else am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I gather meat.
I'm doing the main quest line.
Yeah, I probably could do something more productive.
I'm doing the main quest line now too.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got coupons. Got the new grind spot. Got the new earrings. An emoji or something.
I don't really think we had much this week other than the Paddocks thing.
I don't think we're supposed to be getting a whole bunch of stuff. Let's go on to the. I think we're going to skip other games this week and just get on the global lab shit. And to that end, I want to
got the new brackets, so that means we are almost certainly getting them on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
And then I found out that the shift RMB of what's that, Searing Fang or whatever for Awakened Guardian, where they're removing the bound and replacing it with super armor only on the first hit. So it's super armor hit, unprotected, super armor flow.
That's
and they're
so
taking
strange.
our That's so fucking stupid. I'm so upset.
I kind of like
so
it.
Upset.
So wait, when you do shift right click, do you have to hold it for the second hit, or does it do both hits and then you hold it for the flow?
Yeah, you have to hold it.
So you could just do the first hit, stop pressing shift right, and do something else?
Yeah.
I guess it
So
kind of works.
I mean, you don't have enough super armor already on that class? I mean,
It's a fucking boomer class, and I don't want to have to think. I want to hold down the button, go super armor, and win the game.
On
there's
second
still
thought, after hearing
question
Tim, I think this change is good.
No, well, okay. So there's bound is there's not a lot of CCs in the kit, like unless you dig deep in some really slow pre-awakened shit. And so having that quick little for a bound versus just a super armor and that damage, and then going into unprotected, I 100% take that bound over super armor every single day.
I love that you're saying this. I was making fun of Guardians for this exact same reason when we were going through the global patch notes.
What do you mean? That I just want to like turn my brain off and hit shift
Yeah,
RB?
like how many Guardians are not going to understand how to combo because shift right click had bound built into it. So literally all they would do is just grab and then shift right and it would extend for them naturally. Now Guardians are actually going to have to learn what an extender is.
Yeah, I like this because it basically puts Guardian in a position where you have to like learn, okay, they're doing an ability that CCs. I can't do my full combo because it will CC me. I have a vulnerability, so I have to do another super armor instead. And so you have to kind of like more carefully plan out your skills.
Well, I mean, realistically, it's only a nerf in large scale. You're not going to shift right click in a 1v1 unless your opponent's already on the ground. So it's going to be more like when you're in a ball and you're spamming a bunch of super armors. This one's going to have a gap between the first swing and the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only time you're actually going to get caught out.
I spent $400 to play a class where I didn't have to fucking think, and now they're changing it.
You still don't have to think that much. Like, are there no other skills you can use to knock somebody down after you grab them?
Listen,
I literally don't know.
Listen,
isn't
when Archer came out, we knew there was gonna be a new class, and when Guardian came out, we knew there was gonna be a new class. And now we have Hashashin on the way, and we know there's gonna be another one after Hashashin.
There's
This is
some
how
other
things go.
flow. There's some other flow or KD that you can
Scornful
use
slash,
that would be a better extender than shift right click anyways.
Right,
So
because it's a
going
bound.
to force you to use a better combo that's going to kill more people. And I mean, I don't know if Guardian actually needed more than one skill to kill anyone, but on the off chance you actually needed more than one CC to kill somebody, this is going to now force you to learn how to do that. And the trade-off is you now have even more protection in large scale when you're holding the shift button down and rolling your face across the keyboard. I mean, that's not perfect, but you guys have enough already.
I was memeing, but it's a little bit of a nerf because Scornful Slash is so fucking slow, but it is a float. So our grab is a knockdown, and then we can float right after that and then do our combo. But like you're not doing that in large scale, that's for sure. So Scornful Slash is so slow, dude. It's so slow. It was nice having just a quick little
you have a full KD on your grab though. People stay on the ground for hours after a Guardian grab. My grab's a bound. I have to extend really fast.
Yeah, do you know how fast your class is, and do you know how smooth brain slow my class is? Like, hello, I need the time. That's actually kind of some development there. Because if anything bound, by the time I even got like halfway through the next animation to kill somebody, they'd be like already behind me, killing me. You know, they were thinking.
Yeah,
they were thinking.
Poor Guardians.
I like this because
I spent $400, dude.
This
I kind of want some of my money back.
This is taking Guardian and putting her into a more balanced position overall. I think it's healthy for Node Wars, and for only ones I have no idea whatsoever, so I can't talk about that. So the only thing left is nerfing the AP scaling. Yay! Which they'll never do, so you'll be fine.
They're kind of nerfing AP scaling by adding extra DR brackets to the game.
Sort of, yeah. I think the Guardian's on a whole nother level. She's a whole nother level of AP scaling. 215 AP can go to Ackman and make 7,000 trash. All right, 6,000 to 7,000 trash. I have to clarify. But it's just too much. My honest
part of that
feedback
is also
for
just short cooldowns and huge AoEs, though. It's not necessarily just there's more than just damage that makes that class good at grinding.
I actually, this is what I want them to see them do. I want them to nerf the AP scaling by a significant margin, but actually increase her mobility to compensate for that nerf. That way she's more enjoyable to play, but not so overpowered at lower APs. Because right now, Sorceress used to be like that. Sorceress at lower APs could go into Hystria and would just dominate. And then at higher and higher APs, then other classes would start outperforming it. And I would like to see a more quality of life on her like shield charge, which is her W and F. Because right now there's a lag animation for starting up that animation. I'd like to see that smoothed out. But then in compensation, you lower the AP scaling so that basically what she lacks in AP scaling after they lower it down, she makes up for in her mobility. More like what a lot of other classes do like that have mobility.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they're going to decrease her damage. She got a little bit of a nerf against certain classes when they redid the multipliers. They're clearly okay with Guardian damage at this point. I can't imagine they're going to suddenly take away someone for scaling.
I hope they do.
I want to point out in PvP we take a metric fuck ton more damage than we used to. It's big.
As we should.
Hit us hard. People hit us hard.
Yeah, now you take a proper amount of damage.
Yeah, so I mean that was a relatively jarring change. So I don't think we need to change the feel of the class whatsoever, but it is an interesting change that they're taking bound off of Shift RMB. So we're all gonna have to learn how to Scornful Slash.
Are you making a Vanguard shield?
I will say about this at the end.
Not yet.
One thing I like about this is I really like that they're slowly making changes and not just doing sweeping changes. Because back a couple months ago, they just like, all right, we're nerfing Lon by 30%. We're buffing Lon by 30%. Now we're nerfing Lon again by 30%. It's like, It's like, what are you doing? And nowadays, it seems like they're making very surgical changes. They're very small and they're very well thought out. I think that at least now, this is way better than we were months ago. 6 months ago, this is way better.
Clear. I mean, we kind of talked about this last week already, but it's clear that these changes were done with communication from the Korean feedback team. It's clear that this wasn't just done by the devs themselves, because when the devs try to balance the game themselves, they just we're going to buff this class by 82%, and then that's too much. We're going to now nerf them by 91%, and we're going to remove the game, and they just go fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I guess the conclusion, my thought on this is, since I don't play Guardian a whole lot, not enough to have a really opinion on it, I think that I have to look at this from a broad perspective, and we can talk about this more about global labs, if that's what we're jumping into now. I think that's actually really, really good that they're doing these smaller changes like this. What classes on global labs do you guys want to talk about other than Guardian? Warrior, maybe? They did Warrior and Musa. They actually did Musa changes.
Wait, they added some Musa shit?
Yeah,
Where?
the translation is it's the very, very first one on the list, and it's called Warriors. Let me see what they said.
Is this a new Global Lab patch?
Yep, they just came out on the 12th. Well, whatever this was. What was it?
So this isn't the one we
13th?
talked about last week, because the shift right click shit for Guardian we already talked about that last week.
I know. I had to correct it because I didn't know if it was going to be super armor for the whole time or just for the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
attack.
So what I'm asking is, has there been another round of proposed
Yes, there's
changes?
been another round. This time, they added a musical instruments for Shy to play, and then added. It's not as many class changes as last week, but they have done some more. So for Musa this week, they changed something about his flow, and then changed the typo, and then the defense effectiveness has been further increased by using defensive posture technology in the state of the longsword. So I guess the main hand, except for transmission. So I guess he has better defenses now. I guess
Okay.
when he's blocking, he has better defenses. So his block is going to be a little stronger. That's what it looks like to me. I don't really. This Google Translate is phenomenal. So. But they made some more changes here. I'm not sure about most of these classes because I don't play them enough to know. But they look like there's more quality of life changes overall. That's what most of them look like in here.
Can I get a link to this? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. 1 second. Let's see if my Discord will open up so I can give you a link. Oh, I know what I can do. I can go and I can just drop a link in your chat.
That would be preferred. Thank you.
Bam.
Don't read my chat though. It's getting weird. Now he's reading it. Fuck.
No, I don't care.
Oh yeah, this is definitely in Korean. How do I translate it?
If you're using Google Chrome, right click, translate to English.
What do I right click?
This is your Google Chrome.
Oh, dude, the T1 changes. Okay, I saw these. We got to talk about this. Hold on, I'll be right back though.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, they made some good changes in here overall. Let me turn on my screen again so people can see what's going on. I don't think they. I don't. The Google Translate's kind of weird in here. So Warriors
Here.
is Musa. Warriors is Musa.
Hold on, buddy. I got you. You ready for this? I'm gonna hit you with somebody who translated it properly. Potion shop. There you are, my good friend. There you go.
Bam.
How about that? Wow, I'm still not a mod in your stream, huh?
No. You should make me a VIP in your stream.
Why? I want you to be a mod in my stream. I like you.
I don't know. Do you want me to ban everybody? I don't know.
If somebody says something bad. If they call me a boomer, then you should ban them.
Let me see here. This link.
The phenomenon that the character momentarily slows down when flow reckless blow hits has been successfully alleviated.
Oh, this person's been around forever. This person's been doing this type of like translations for years in the community. It's been crazy.
Magical evasion decrease. Echo spirits have been the speed and attack of echo spirits for strikers buff. Down smash has been added to infernal destruction. What?
Oh, all they did is they changed the ability names to the proper ability names. His Warriors is it still says Warriors instead of Musa.
I'm sorry, they gave Mystic HP recovery on Wave Orb?
I don't know why they're giving Mystic that kind of stuff. There's definitely, I mean, we have to understand that these recommended class changes are coming from people who play the class, so they're all biased.
Oh, fuck. It's these fucking assholes. You know how many people have come into my stream and go, why do you hate Berserkers, Tim? Why do you hate Berserkers after last week? It's these fucking idiot shitbags that have never, they just allegory of the cave. All I know is the shadow of the world that's projected behind me, right? These mystics have never played a different fucking class. So yeah, we definitely need that. Anyway, we definitely need 200 HP recovery on Wave Orb. Are you serious?
I
Fucking
think this
serious,
is
man.
like I said this last week. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a continued problem. That these are just people who are biased. They're biased in what they are their feedback to developers. So developers have to be wise enough to understand that these people are giving them biased feedback, and they have to filter that out. And I think we're going to see in some cases there's going to be a few things that slip through. They're going to be a little overpowered, but overall, this is way better than what Pearl Abyss was doing. So I'll take it.
I mean,
you
is
know,
it like a flat 200? Or are they regenning it as they charge, like 200 per tick?
Here's a really good change. That's flat 200. Here's a really good change for Ranger. I don't like Ranger buffs, but this is really good. When using the following skills, the pushing effect applied to monsters has been reduced or removed, and it's like literally all their skills.
yeah, this
I
is
actually really
huge
like that for
quality of
Ranger.
life.
I like that for Ranger a lot. I think that's a really good buff.
Because what you do a lot of times in Ocban is you would do like your shotgun and your mobs go and push away, and then you're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. That should have happened a long time ago.
That's a problem with a lot of classes.
Sorceress is a huge problem with Sorceress. With Violation, Sorceress can't go to Machims and can't go to Ocban because of that. Now, Succession can probably go to Ocban at high enough AP. I went in there a day, and I mean, I guess it blurred him so fast it doesn't really matter. But
So the other big one is down smash added to Infernal Destruction for Striker. The thing about Striker, in my experience, is remember when we 1v1 Moreland, the floating you was like 4th in inches. Like getting that last float was 4th in inches, and a lot of time you're just up to desync on if you get that last float. And there is no reliable down smash for the most part in the Striker kit, especially for Awakening. So whereas the sister class Mystic has just the same skills and different down smash modifiers, like for percentage of success. And so I think it's pretty interesting that they get a proper down smash in their Awakening kit for Striker. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not excited for Striker to have
not
more
either.
down smashers. Which one is Infernal Destruction? Is that the...
That's Shift R&B, isn't it?
What does that look like? Yeah, I don't know.
Did that
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to figure out like if that down smash is actually going to have any kind of reliable impact on the length of the CC. I mean, you're normally punching. What are you using? Shift right click like after Shift Q? How does that plan out? Like when you grab someone, what's the order of things? Are you gonna do Shift right click at the end of the combo for the down smash?
Oh, it's the hammer hit. Oh, okay. It's the hammer fist they do. Interesting.
So would you do that at the end of a combo, or where does that skill go?
So I would do it. So you grab somebody, death strike, drop the leg, and then you can spiral if it's a 1v1, spiral cannon, or down smash. I'd probably spiral cannon them and then down smash because that's a float. So if you spiral cannon then down smash, you can do anything after that and you're dead. You won't get up from that. So that makes the Striker combos, even at even gear or at less gear, if somebody outgears you, you get them in a grab, Striker's definitely fucking you up.
Yeah, I mean, the Striker skill's already chained together in such a way where that CC is so fucking long. Like, you're on the ground forever. I mean, like you said, like with a little bit of lag, you can basically get perma CC'd by a Striker.
Right, but it works both ways. A little bit of lag and you're out of there, no problem.
Yeah.
You roll out and it's like, well, fuck. So there's some interesting changes here. I don't know enough about Lawn to really go into that, but the node war changes are a big thing. I wonder if we're going to tier 2s now,
Yeah, let's move into that. I think some of these are interesting, but we're going to see what we actually get and how that feels when we play it, because we've done 2 weeks of changes now, and who knows how that all is going to pan out in the long run. We might find new kind of bugs, might find new exploits, might be some new metas that kind of evolve from this. I'm kind of curious to see how everything kind shakes out in the long run. I mean, overall, it seems like good changes, but I think time will tell. And I really want to kind of get my hands on it, so to speak, before I make a solid decision on how I feel about it all at this point. And also hear back from the community as well to see what they say about, hey, Mystic's overpowered now, or Striker's overpowered now, or this other class is underpowered compared to everybody else now, or whatever the case may be. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what ends up happening.
Sincerely don't think that Mystic needed a heal, and I don't think Striker needs a down smash like that, but okay.
Yeah.
But Node Wars. So the Node War changes, AP and DP limits of Tier 1 Node Wars have changed as follows. From beginners, 230, 260, down to 210, 250, 210 AP, 250 DP. Intermediate, 250, 290, down to 230, 270, which is roughly the beginner. And advanced, 270, 320 to 240, 300.
So this is across the board. Like, not only is this lowering the caps, but it's increasing the distance between AP and DP, so that it's capped in such a way where time to kill is going to be slower than ever, right? Like, you're going to be tankier than you've ever been in a T1 with these changes coming through. Now, at the same time, they're nerfing the damage reduction brackets. So if you have 20%, maybe that'll wash out. But for a lot of people who didn't have, 346 DP, they're definitely going to be tankier in T1s now than they were before.
So they're trying to push guilds like Null out of Tier 1s so they can be for proper new players trying to learn how to...
Null actually has that many people who were at the 20% bracket. I think there's a lot of people in there that don't have crazy gear.
Oh, really?
I'm actually really curious if this is going to fix the bugs, because they don't mention here anything about the bugs about getting AP brackets and DR brackets being fixed.
Yeah, that's a big part of the problem too. Is like when they're changing these caps, are there bugs that are being fixed behind? Like, do you think they noticed? Do you think they actually tested any of this? Do you think they learned something about how? Like there's a lot of unspoken, questions here that are really almost more important than what the caps themselves are, because a 230 AP cap means a lot of different things depending on how the brackets are interacting, and like that DP cap means a lot of different things depending on how it's deciding between your DR and your evasion and when you're over the cap. Like, there's so many unanswered questions we still have about gear caps and T1s and things that we were seeing that just didn't make any sense. And I wonder if those things are still going to be a problem, or if they are going to be, sort of accidentally fixing those things with this patch.
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Also, maximum HP has been limited, and it reduces over time.
This is huge. I'd like to take a second to talk about the previous topic a little bit more.
Sorry.
So I think this is my gut feeling on this, is that the reason that the developers are going after this change for AP/DP is so that they're trying to create like a bridge for new players to get up into the Node War scene. So you have low-end Node Wars with lower AP, and then as you scale up in AP, you go to harder and harder Node Wars as a new guild, which makes sense to me. And now in Tier 2s, for the first time, there's an AP/DP bracket, which we didn't mention yet, which I think is really, really big deal. I would like to see, personally, I think this is a small step in the correct direction, because the main problem here is that the big guilds have no motivation to go up and actually conquer the siege regions or Tier 4s or Tier 3s or anything. There's not enough motivation for them to do that, and the motivation should be in prestige or something. We talked about this before on the podcast, but there needs to be some type of carrot to chase, and it has to be prestige. It cannot be monetary, because they already have the gear. They don't care about the gear. So it has to be something monetary. It can't be something monetary. It has to be something cosmetic or something for them. Maybe make it wear titles or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think that I would really, really like to see them answer that question, and I think this is one step in the direction of, guilds working their way towards the top. And what do you guys think about that? Do you think this helps that, or you think it hurts it? Does it matter?
It kind of helps. So the new T1 caps are really good. The T2 cap is kind of retarded. It's really, really bad, I think. 270 AP, 320 DP. That's just, everyone's a glass cannon. Like, at those brackets, that doesn't make any sense. Literally everyone will one-shot everyone at 270, 320. If you're going to cap AP at 270 for T2s, then the DP cap needs to be like non-existent. Like it needs to be uncapped, or I don't know, 360 plus. Like, so you're killing DP builds. Basically, you're murdering all shies on T2s, and then in addition to that, like I don't know, it's just 270 is a lot of AP. That's where the bulk of AP brackets are done at 269.
True.
320 DP does not keep you alive for half a second against someone with 270. So,
so what would the AP have to be? What would you
too.
say the AP bracket would need to be? Maybe 261 or lower?
Even at 261, you're going to blow up people who have 320 DP. 320 DP is nothing. Like, I think what they should do actually for tier 2s is there should be a gear squish. I don't think it should be a cap. I think it should be a soft cap, kind of like what Albion does. And then after a certain point, you only get like half of a gear above that or something like that, or 30% of your gear above that, so that you still have some sense of progress, but people who are under geared also have a chance. I think that's how they should handle T2s. And then for hard caps, we already have 3 T1 difficulties that are hard capped. That's more than enough. I think tier 2 there should be a little bit more flexibility.
So when you're talking about a gear squish, are you talking about like AP DP, or are you talking about like total gear score? Like which way are you thinking about this? Because right now I don't think there's a vibe bill for AP or DP.
Your AP above a certain amount would be cut. Your DP above a certain amount would be cut. Like it wouldn't be capped, but you'd only get 1 out of every 3 AP beyond a certain point. Like so that, like I said, you could still progress in those tiers, but you would be, if you really want to be super geared and feel the effect of your gear, you should be going to T3s and sieges.
I guess it seems reasonable.
But it's good that they have. I really like this sort of these different tiers of PvP that they're doing. I like that people are going to have content that they can get into very early in the game that doesn't require that much gear, and then they can progress through those to higher nodes. I agree that the reward structure and the kind of the incentive to do nodes right now is sort of broken and not interesting. People are pretty much doing it just for the fight. But yeah, I mean, I like these. I don't know. It's weird. I really like these T1 caps, but the T2 cap makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't see what they're going for there.
Yeah, I understand there being a T2 cap, but the numbers they chose, I think, are incorrect. I'd like to see them choose different numbers that made more sense.
It's like they seemed unaware of the fact that almost all your bracket AP comes from 250 to 270. Like that is the window in which AP skyrockets. And they just kind of like threw the numbers out here, and they make sense. And then once you get above 250, it's like you got to pay way more attention to AP caps. You can't just increase it by another 20.
It's sort of like they're looking only at the sheet. If you look at just the sheet AP and DP, you're like, oh yeah, this looks fine. But if you actually look at the hidden stats, this is no bueno, Anyway,
which again,
I think it's interesting.
Stats in this game being way too confusing.
Yeah. Well, too confusing for the developers. Apparently, they don't understand. Apparently,
no, I don't think they do understand. It is interesting though that they're doing this right when these new DP brackets are coming out. So we might have 1 week of insane 30% DR T1s, and then this change will come in the next week and kind of put that to bed.
True.
Why do you think the devs are interested in T1s all of a sudden? Do you think they're watching streams? Like after all these years, why do you think now? Do you think that's a coincidence that since we all started streaming them, they're suddenly wanting to rebalance?
There's 2 or 3 reasons for this, and I can tell you exactly why, at least in my opinion, why I think they're doing it. New World's coming out. New World has a PvP system that's supposed to be way better than BDO's. It's one of the selling points of their game, and so they want to be competitive with New World.
This has nothing to do with New World. What do you mean?
So we always know that they develop content in competition with other MMOs. So when Arcade Unchained came out, they had a ability to create music in Arcade Unchained. And then immediately after Arcade Unchained came out, they started saying, hey, look, Shy with music's coming out. Get ready.
Music in Arcade back in like 2014.
Yeah, but it wasn't until Arcade Unchained came out and then Fake Uniform was streaming making music and other people were talking about making music in Arcade Unchained. Then literally like a month after that, they announced, like, boom, we're getting in BDO right now.
I think you're reaching.
And I think the same thing's true here when they're looking at their competition, because we always know that they always release content in relation to competition. So when they release a new update, it's when World of Warcraft, the next Order will probably come out when World of Warcraft comes out. It's almost a guaranteed at this point, unless they delay it again, like we've seen before. So, but they always release
there's
content with it. So
T1
I think what they're doing with this Node War change is they're trying to get Node Wars in a position to compete with New World's Node War system. And I think that's one part of it. Another thing is I think that the streamer's been talking about it for a long time. Tim's been screaming about Node Wars and Siege for like a year or more now.
I think you're the only person in the world who actually even knows that New World has a Node War system. I think there's 0.0% chance that anyone in Korea knows what the New World Node War system even remotely looks like.
Listen, all they do is look at our games and copy them. That's what they're doing that's why they're adding dailies to the game. They look at World of Warcraft. It has tons of dailies. They just copy them.
They didn't add T1 nodes in this patch. They're just tweaking something that's already existed in the game.
You asked why I think they're changing it. I'm just telling you why I think they're changing it, and that's part one. So part two is I think is streamers. So Tim's been talking about Siege and Node Wars for a long time. They realize that Choice is getting tons of viewers on Siege, right? They see one of the top streamers is the guy who took your podcast, the Siege podcast, and they see all this hype around Node Wars, and then they say we've been talking about it for such a long time. I think they're finally starting to listen a little bit, and also they're trying to listen because they have the competition of New World. So I think with those two things combined, with both the players talking about it and New World as competition, it's been enough of a push for them to actually make small changes. This is not huge. And another reason I think it's New World is because they're copying New World's Node War system. The exact same Node War system that New World has, they're copying it and putting it into BDO. The exact, like carbon copied. What New World has is basically you basically capture a node, and then you can capture adjoining nodes nearby, and then you basically claim a chunk of region for yourself. And basically what they've announced for BDO is that you claim a node and you claim nearby nodes and claim a little chunk of region for yourself in BDO.
Yeah, but shit's never gonna get added to the game.
And that's what they're trying to do for it.
Part two.
But yeah, that's what they're trying to implement. They're trying to copy, and that's what they announced. You can look at it. They've announced it now. Will it ever come out? I don't know.
Before we ever get that shit.
They've announced it. They said it's in development, and I actually expect it to be coming out probably before the end of the year, because right now they're developing content and delaying Ordolito until some competition comes out, and then they're going to release Ordolito for us. So we're getting Hashishin. What's going to come after Hashishin? There's going to be a lull there. What are they going to release after that?
Shocked if we get any sort of reworked Node War system in this game within the next.
They've talked about it 2 times already. 2 times they've talked about reworking the Node War system.
They've talked about it more than that.
They're talking about the new one. They've talked about a third time they're bringing back the old like Caltheon versus Valencia bullshit thing.
They said they were going to delete Medaya Castle 2 years ago.
But they actually developed that, put it into the test server, and it was garbage.
And they're reinvesting. No, they're reinvesting into that. Remember?
Yeah, they said they're going to do it again. They're going to say we're going to go back to the drawing board and remake it. Like,
yeah, we're all going to be playing Crimson Desert before that comes out.
I think the Node War system change will be out before Ordolito comes out. That's my guess. So it's going to be Hashishin, and then it's going to be the new Node War system, and then it's going to be Ordolito. I think it's the order of content we're going to get.
It's going to be a weird time.
Yeah. I want to know if T1s are popping in Korea. I want to know if this is a global thing or if this is just unique to the NA region. Do we have people in chat who can pipe in from other regions? Are T1s on the rise worldwide? Like, is everybody bored with Siege and going to T1s, or is this a uniquely NA thing? Because
I know EU's on it.
I really wonder if this is just them seeing increased T1 participation, like in terms of their back end and their numbers, or if they're seeing more people streaming it. I just think it's very interesting that all of a sudden, T1s are getting this much attention on the global lab.
I can promise you, to respond to something you said, Potion, that anything I have said with the podcast, the 2 years that I ran the Siege podcast, and especially with the new podcast, none of that matters or has gotten back to Prolibus in any meaningful way. So I don't take credit for any of this. I think
just take it. Just take the credit. Don't. That doesn't matter if it's true, right? Just take it. It's a freebie.
Well, no, it's more than that. It's at one point I wanted to make a difference and tried very hard to do all of that, but I think it's just kind of I mean, you have to pay very loose attention to this game to see that people say Siege sucks and they go to T1s, and you can just see the amount of forts that are being built on T1s. They're metadata crazy. I'm sure they've got a spreadsheet that shows the gear of people that are fighting in T1s all of a sudden or something. So I don't really think it has to do with, what we're doing or what, is portrayed on Twitch or anything like that.
Yeah, I hope it's a sign of things to come. I mean, Node Wars is a key part of BDO. Open World PvP used to be a key part of BDO. GVGs used to be a very fun part of BDO. I'd like to see. I mean, maybe this is a sign of things to come, and maybe they said, "Hey, we're going to be reworking the old game systems. We're bringing back the old times again." And maybe this is just the next step in that process. And if that's true, I mean, I'd love to see them start making more changes like this. This right here looks like a step in the right direction. And let's go into the HP changes here because we haven't talked about those yet, and you were getting into those. What do you guys think about these HP changes? They're kind of crazy. They're different. I think they're good. I kind of like them. I'm not really sure.
I'm out of control. I'm literally fucking out of control with my tankiness in T1 nodes. Also, stay tuned. I'll be doing a T1 node tonight. I've got like 6,500 HP or something, and I'm just crushing gearlets. It's fucking oppressive. And Zerkers can do the same thing, right? So I think it's a good idea. And I think reducing the HP kind of plays into having an actual conclusion to a fight instead of stalemating.
Yeah, I think it's healthy because
it's one of their smarter ideas, honestly.
I'm really worried that this is a Band-Aid fix for the unspoken buggy DR brackets that we've been trying to figure out. Like, if we actually understood how the DP cap is working and that got fixed, I feel like that would get rid of a lot of this overly tankiness that we see on T1s. True. And the HP nerfs wouldn't be necessary. Like, why, Tim, why do you think it is that you're so much tankier than other people on T1s?
Because I have the right gear, the right gems. I did the HP book. I could afford the HP book, right? I'm not supposed to have all these things for a T1 node. And so I don't think I'm really supposed to have all of this HP. I'm still happy with 5,000 HP because there's Maywas that are going to have 3,200 HP. Even if they have the HP book, they're going to have 4,000 or 4,200 or something. So I'm running as many buffs as I possibly can.
Someone in tech gear should be equally as tanky as you if they've done the HP journal, right?
Yeah, if they've got all boss gear and stuff. We're talking about T1s. This is supposed to be the introduction to PvP. And so I don't have Red Nose, but it also prevents me from buying like Tet Eyes of Ruin and stuff like that.
DP cap and T1 easies with Oasis gear. Like, I don't think anyone who's doing a T1 isn't DP capped. You think there are people who are under 260 DP that are fighting in these T1s?
I think there's two reasons. I mean, Guardian is naturally a tankier class than a lot of our classes, so that's part of it. And then his HP is the second part of that. And then everything else should be the same. Evasion and DR, if they are balancing it properly, should be capped the same with everyone else. If they're doing it correctly. And then,
see, in my experience, those things just don't explain the differences we see in time to kill on T1s. Even among Guardians, like there's some Guardians that I will grab that I can't one combo, and there's other Guardians that I'll grab and like I don't even need to finish my combo and they're dead. So I could see how class is a factor, but I still feel like there's some underlying issue with the way that DP is being capped, and that is the real problem here when it comes to T1 tankiness. And so if that continues to be a problem and they're nerfing HP, everyone's going to get nerfed by HP, but the people who are benefiting from having more defense than they should are still going to benefit from having more defense than they should.
That's a good point.
All right, so I have two theories on this, and I want to know which one you think it might be. One is that either DR or evasion is calculated first, and then the DP cap, if you hit the DP cap with, maybe evasion is calculated first, right? So if you hit the DP cap with evasion, then you're capped out, and it doesn't calculate any of the DR, and so then you're just destroyed when you do get hit. Or maybe the vice versa, maybe DR is calculated first, and so you get to be a super super tanky boy with a pure DR build, and then then all the evasion's just ignored. And then I think the second option would be that the actual DR brackets are being applied, even though they're not supposed to be. Like they say here, the DR brackets are supposed to be 7%, 9%, 13%,
Well, the
or
DR
16%.
brackets are definitely being applied. We know for sure that DR brackets get applied.
Yeah.
But even when you take that into account, I'm seeing a way more like people with 300 DP or whatever. I don't know exactly what the bracket is, but it's not zero, right? Like it's not the difference between 20% damage reduction rate and zero. It's the difference between like 20 and 10. I'm not seeing a variance of 10% tankiness when I'm fighting people in T1s. I'm seeing most people get one comboed, and then every once in a while, there's a guy who I can't even get to half health. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, like what is going on there. It could definitely be something weird with how the DP is getting capped, although it's hard to formulate exactly how that would work, because having zero DR would mean that any hit that landed, you would see someone's health bar explode. So you would watch their health, and it wouldn't take any damage, no damage, and then they would just die, right? Like they would take 2k damage all at once. And I don't see that. So maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it is like the DR is being calculated first, and people with high DR builds with low evasion. And in other words, like if you actually had shitty armor, but you were wearing like cadre rings, and so you just had a bunch more DR, maybe you're bottoming out people's damage in that bracket. That could be happening. I don't know, but something weird is happening, and we need Big and Shiny to figure out what it is.
Oh, you also need to consider fairies and pots and stuff like that. My tankiness went way up by going from the T4 fairy to T5 for the auto pot. Way up
for cheer, yeah. Hey, so another thought I had here. Do you guys think it's possible that maybe the hidden stats? Because right here they only talk about your sheet stats. They're only talking about sheet. They never mention anything about total hidden stats or anything.
They do mention hidden stats. There's been a specific Q&A about T1 caps, and the devs, at least this is what they've claimed. Who knows if this is actually true? But they've claimed that this is your total AP. So this includes your sheet, your hidden AP, your food buffs. They according to the devs, everything is added to this cap. But that's still, leaves open the very important question of what does that mean when it comes to DP? Like DP is multiple stats. So just saying you're capped at 300 DP doesn't actually tell anyone what that means or what is happening. Like, is it 50-50? Is it calculating the first one and then the second one? Like, what does it mean to have a cap of 300 DP? One of the theories is that Cafris levels are being excluded for some reason. I mean, there's a lot of theories, but without Big and Shiny, we're never going to fucking know.
Cafris levels will make a lot of sense because those are newer than the DP caps, because DP caps have been in the game for a very long time. Like Red Battlefield was the original AP DP caps. We had grind spots. Like I think everything in Caltheon is like 300 AP
very
capped.
Possible that they are copy and pasting code from like 2017 that doesn't understand what a Cafris stone is. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah,
and it would explain.
who really knows? I mean, we're just guessing, but it's either it's calculating the DR first, or there's a bug and it's not calculating everything properly. Those are the two options. Either it's calculating DR first, and that's weird.
It be funny, though, if actually people with shittier gear and T1s were tankier because they were able to cap out their DR and invasion wasn't getting factored in? Wouldn't that be hilarious if that was actually the reason why some people were unkillable?
What we need to do is we need to get
answer, though, because then honestly, when you fight against guilds like Black Rose, you feel that they are tankier, and so the Cafris level explanation is probably the best one that we've come up with. I don't think the other explanation really explains why super geared guilds feel like they are super geared in T1s.
So what we need to do is we need to I need to join an enemy faction guild, go into a T1 against you guys in Null, and then when I have I'll take off my pin armor and put on Tet armor, and then we can see the damage difference.
Yeah, honestly, we need to test it. Someone said Big and Shiny was testing it this week, but I don't know if he got results.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Whenever he has that figured out, that'd be awesome to hear. The Cafris seems like the most likely bug. If it had to be a bug and I was a betting man, I'd bet on Cafris being the bug, because that seems the most likely thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
That or the DR brackets, like you said, because DR brackets are definitely have been fudged with a whole lot. Yeah. But this Caphras, I bet that makes a lot of sense, honestly. Is there anything else here in Global Lab? I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so.
How long? What time are we at?
Pretty late.
2.5 hours.
2.5. Oh, all right. Well, let's do lightning round. What is that? I think that's what Linus Tech Tips does. Horizon Zero Dawn is basically unplayable on PC. So Sony did like a terrible port of that over to PC. So hopefully they'll have some bug fixes out for that. I mean, it basically crashes. It's close to unplayable though for most people. Fortnite got banned on Google and Apple. And basically the reason they got banned is because in their app store, you have to give them 30% of your money. And you have to run all purchases through Apple or Google. And what Fortnite did is they said, hey, pay us directly and don't pay Apple and Google. And obviously Apple and Google weren't very happy about this, removed Fortnite. Fortnite returned by saying, hey, we can't sell our stuff on your platform. You have a monopoly. This is a antitrust deal. So they're doing a whole suing Google and Facebook.
Wow.
This is more important for Apple than Google though, because Google you can still download apps outside of the App Store and you can still monetize them and everything, but you can't have them in the App Store unless you're giving them 30%, which makes sense because like Steam, you give 30% to Steam, but if you don't want to do it through Steam, then you download their the League of Legends client or the Fortnite client or whatever. So on Google, I think they'll probably be safe for the most part, but Apple, you literally have to upload your game to the Apple Store. They literally have a 100% monopoly on everybody who wants to release an app on the Apple device. And so this is going to be really big for future, depending on how it goes with Apple, because if Fortnite wins, then people will actually be able to monetize their games outside of the Apple Store and maybe download them in some form or fashion.
Any way that Epic Games wins this, I don't understand what their angle is here. And even if they do win, it seems strange to me because they have their own platform, right? Like they have the Epic Games platform. So if they get some sort of landmark decision that platforms are forced to allow people to put their games on it, then doesn't that mean that the Epic Games platform has to have their competitors' games on it as well? Like I don't understand what the goal is here.
Actually, Fortnite is been doing this really, really hard push for consumer-focused goals. They released their own Epic Games store, and they only take like a 15% cut compared to like I think
they also do exclusivity deals, so you have to get that on the Epic platform.
Yes,
that's the opposite
but
of what
they're trying to make a more consumer-focused market, both for consumers and developers at the same time. They also did this with Sony and Xbox. Back when Fortnite first came out, they went, "Oops, cross-platform. We forgot to turn it off.
Okay.
Oops." And then basically, nowadays they have cross-platform on them because they pushed an agenda and they try to make it better for the consumers. And they did it again with PC now with their Epic Games Store.
They're making it better for consumers. You're making me mauled. How is a platform that's like known for forcing exclusive deals and yanking things off of other platforms that you have to get it through Epic? How is that pro-consumer? I mean, this is clearly just a money play. Why? I don't know why we're cupping their nuts here. Like,
so. The reason it's better for consumers is because it's better for developers. If developers take a bigger slice of the pie, then developers can have more money to make better games. And so it's a roundabout way, but the goal is to overall eventually force Steam into having better monetization practices for the developers, so the players can have better games in the long run.
The consumer and the developer are not the same person.
My point here is not to focus on the Steam store, because that's not what we're talking. Not the Steam store, the Epic store. My point is here that they're trying to focus. They're doing this for consumer benefit. That's their main goal. Now, is everything they do consumer focused and for the consumer? No. Obviously, they're the company. They've made $17 billion. Some shit. They want to make tons of money. That's their goal. And obviously, if they can monetize their game outside of the app stores, they make more money from it, which is good for them. But ultimately, if they win this, it's going to be very, very big for Apple users in particular, because then, they can download apps outside of the App Store, and that'll be a huge change for Apple devices. It's something just to keep on watch. I don't really care how it turns out. I don't even have an Apple phone. I have an Android, so it doesn't matter to me.
It's going to affect your Android too.
Why would a platform be forced to not take a cut from people using their platform? I don't understand what's happening here.
All right, so on Apple, you cannot download an app for your phone without going through the Apple Store.
Right? That makes sense.
Yes. That means you have a monopoly on it. If you have an Android phone, it's like, imagine if Windows, you had to download everything for Windows on the Windows Store. They would have monopoly. And so that's a problem. That's a problem
That's not a monopoly. That's them supporting their device with exclusivity. That's like saying that I bought an Apple phone and I can't use whatever charger I want. Right, you have to buy the charger for the phone. They don't have a monopoly on chargers. You have to buy that hardware to support their device.
Anyway, I'm not a legal professional or anything like this. This is a type of monopoly because you're a platform, not a whatever. Anyway, if you want to learn more about it, look online. It's something to monitor because it will potentially change depending on who wins. The way that phones will work for like forever in the future until laws change, decades from now. So this is a very big deal for apps on phones and something to be keeping track of. I don't really care who wins personally because for me, I'm just going to download free games and not pay for them anyway because that's how I use my phone. So it's not, for me, it doesn't really matter as much. It makes a lot of sense for Twitch streamers. This is how it could apply to us. Twitch, you have to download the Twitch app through Google or Apple Store, and then you have to give them 30%. So if you want to give a streamer $5 in bits, it's not $5 in bits. It's actually $8 you have to spend on that because 30% has to go to Apple or Google. And so right now, if you wanted to give bits to a streamer or sub to a streamer, it actually costs you $8 on a phone, where on PC it costs you $5 a sub. So that's something right now that's negatively affecting our platform even that we're on for mobile users. And if Fortnite actually wins this lawsuit, then you could just download the Twitch app from the Twitch website, and then it's $5 again. It's $5 again for a sub, which would be a nice change for us.
I mean, I think Twitch would be doing this on their own platform and just saying, hey, you can't get PayPal donations anymore if they could control it. Right?
They did that, but they did that by doing gifted subs, but that's a whole nother conversation.
This is a really, really weird thing that probably has.
It's just something to monitor. If you're into this type of information, it's something to monitor. It's something interesting for people who are techie and understand this type of stuff. If you're just a gamer playing to play video games, then who cares? It doesn't matter.
Interesting. I just don't. I'm trying to understand what the end goal to make it so that there is a second app store on both Google and Apple that is not run. Like an iPhone would have a non-Apple app store on it, and then people could download directly things through that. Like, is that what we want from this?
The goal is to make it like PC. PC, I could go to League of Legends website and then download League of Legends. I could go to an Adobe and download Adobe. I don't have to.
They want to force Apple to be open source, basically.
So you would just go to I would just go to Fortnite.com instead of the App Store and download the mobile version of Fortnite onto my phone.
So
and that would be every other game.
The goal here of Fortnite is to have the option of doing whichever one. So you could be, if you're an App Store, then you pay them a percentage fee, and if you don't want to be in the App Store, you could download from the website, and then you could also do that. Because right now, think about PC right now.
What's keeping companies from doing that right now? What's keeping Fortnite or Epic Games from having an APK that you can get on their website that just installs the game directly on your phone and bypasses the App Store?
So for APKs on Android, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you on Android doing that. So that's why the lawsuit with Google is not going to probably go anywhere, or has a less chance of going somewhere. But on Apple, you are forced to do it through the Apple Store. The Apple phone has some way of enforcing this. I don't know how.
Will just nuke any APK that you downloaded.
Yeah, you can't download an APK and have it do all that stuff. It doesn't work on Apple.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure how I feel about it. That is kind of horse shit, but I don't own any Apple products. And
me neither. That's why I didn't. That's really why I got into it.
Get for buying an Apple product. Like, do you not realize you're buying into their shitty little monopoly where they're going to charge you for wireless headphones and then sell you the wires for them so you don't lose them? Like, I just feel like people who buy Apple products, this is what you get what you buy.
Yeah, it's why I started buying Android myself, and I think overall, like I said, unless it's just something to be, it's an interesting topic. It will potentially change the mobile scene in the future, regardless of who wins. So something to keep note of and keep watch on. And that's it. That's all the topics I have. Is there any other games that you guys played this week you guys want to talk about?
Mortal Shell comes out tomorrow or the next day. I'm gonna be playing the fuck out of that. That's about it.
What's Mortal Shell again?
It's kind of like it's supposed to be a Dark Souls like game, which I normally roll my eyes at, but this one actually looks good. Well, so hopefully
Okay.
it will be.
That'd be good. Looking forward to that. I'll hear more from you next week, I guess.
I want my Overwatch account unbanned.
That's not happening.
No, I'm just playing Overwatch. That's a really interesting topic that they're trying to force platform exclusivity or not exclusivity or whatever the hot fuck they're actually trying to do. That's weird to me. You know, I feel like you have to pay to be able to use. I mean, getting on Steam is huge value for anybody. Getting on Apple is huge value, and I don't think there's anything wrong with paying for that. Otherwise, you just do something else or make your own platform. Somebody has a business or creates a product, forcing them to allow you to get around that and let you use their success for free is ridiculous. So I don't think this thing has a hope at all. I hope antitrust laws aren't that crazy, but they could be.
Well, the idea for it is you buy a phone and then you can use that phone however you want, but then you buy an Apple phone and you can't use it however you want.
Yeah,
and
I know that, and I buy Apple phones knowing that.
So you buy an Android instead, right? I feel like that's the answer here.
Yeah, I don't buy an
Apple
Android because I feel like there's too much
that existed. I could see how this is a monopoly, but it's not. There's other smartphones, so it's hard. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to see the argument here.
Like I said, I really hope antitrust law isn't this fucking stupid.
I think Albion, even to this day, is doing direct downloads on Android. I don't even know if you can play Albion on iPhone. I remember there was a whole stink about it because for years after Albion was released, there was no iOS version. And I think it's because they just have a direct download that you do. I don't even know if you get it from the App Store or not.
Yeah, I don't see this being a problem on Google. I think the argument really comes down to why platforms really should be, and then Fortnite is trying to strong arm Apple into this.
30% is a lot. It's a lot for a game that's as popular as Fortnite. So I don't blame them.
You're talking about. They said they made about $10 million on App Store purchases. So that means they gave $3 million to Google and Apple, and then Google and Apple did nothing other than download it. It's not a whole lot for $3 million.
That sounds really low, but
they're not a very harsh amount. I mean, do you really want to play Fortnite on the phone? No. But I mean,
definitely play Fortnite on phone. I mean, it's probably the number one earning app in the world by a lot, I would guess.
No, Minecraft probably is.
Candy Crush is the number one phone app for monetization.
No way, Candy Crush is still number one.
Yeah, it is.
Minecraft is one, two, or three.
It's definitely top 5. It's way up there. I don't remember the other ones. I read an article went through the top 5 or something like that. Candy Crush is still the best by far, as far as monetization goes. All right, well, I don't have anything else.
Candy Crush is number 6 according to this.
What's number 1?
PUBG Mobile.
Wow.
PUBG Mobile.
I know
monetization.
It had a big community.
Yeah, and then Honor of Kings, and then Monster Strike. I don't even know what half these games are. And then Roblox, and then Coin Master, and then Candy Crush.
Wow, Minecraft isn't even up there?
Nope. AFK Arena, Gardenscapes.
Minecraft is a one-time purchase, so it makes sense. These other games, one guy goes in there and spends $10,000 on Candy Crush and really jacks up the value a lot.
Where's Raid Shadow Legends?
Can you imagine spending $10,000 on Candy Crush?
I'm sure there's people who've done it, sadly.
Oh, man. All right, so that will be episode 13 for Nerds and Words. That was a hell of an episode, man. Holy shit. I'm Tim Allen 1337. That's Moreland TV, and over in that weird little green corner is Potion Shop TV. Just tell us what you guys got going on quick this week, and what we can expect from your channels.
Mortal Shell should be pretty good. It's been a while since I played any Souls likes. We had at Sekiro like a year and a half ago, and then we did the Deathless Dark Souls run this year. But yeah, I'm itching to get back into that setting and see what they've got, see what kind of innovations they've made. And I mean, it just, at least aesthetically, the game looks really cool. So if nothing else, it'll be visually nice. But I think the gameplay and the setting might have something to it. So I'm excited. We'll start that in a day or two whenever they release it.
Potion, you gonna stream this week?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm getting back into it. I going to be playing on Maywa a little bit. We're going to do a pin beds attempt on Monday, and then after we get done with that, we're going to take a little break from the hardcore grind. I think I just need that, and then we're going to grind for the infinite potion. Hopefully, get the. I need only one piece, so we're going to grind for that. See if we get that potion piece, and then yeah, probably put in like 50 hours this week on that. So lots of grinding on that. Try to get that knocked out.
For me, I'm actually going to be making a big concerted effort to pump out a couple of fun YouTube videos. I really haven't made a fun YouTube video, so hopefully fun YouTube video number 1 is going to drop sometime tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. I'm going to try to cut my stream time just a little bit and make some more YouTube videos. So sub to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be trying some different things, and it should be an interesting experience. But I am so excited for Season 2 and the new account. I've got the new account made already, and it's sitting in Aftershock waiting to be an officer and all that stuff. And I'm so ready, man. I don't know why I'm so excited about this, but I truly am. So September 2nd, I'm just like blocking my schedule out and I'm probably going to do a 24-hour stream for Season 2. So I have not confirmed that, but we'll see. So I'm excited. Excellent episode, guys. Thank you all for your time very much. This was Nerds and Words. You can catch us mostly on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, my schedule is kind of getting in the way because family has coronavirus, so doing the best we can. You can find it on Potion Shop or Mai's YouTube. And then thank you to Potion Shop for taking the time to upload this to Spotify. We are on Spotify, so if you want to miss Borland sneeze on camera and just listen to us, that's fine. But thank you guys very much, and we'll catch you next week.